Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video we are going to be taking a look at all the updates that Pokemon Go has posted on their website since PvP came out, and we're basically going to go through a history of how the game has changed a lot, and really pulling down these links and looking through them and getting a summary of them. It kind of like makes me really nostalgic on how much the game has changed. But these type of things I don't like to do by myself, so I have a few special guests joining me. They're going to join me via audio, so I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Kaiser, otherwise known as Kaiser Niner. I used to stream a little bit on Twitch. We'll hopefully get that back going. I have done PvP since it came out. Loved every second of it. It's given me opportunity to meet great people, have great opportunities, and just have a good time.
All right, perfect.
Hi, my turn. Hi, I'm Nightwing. I run Pokemon Go Battle League. It's a remote PvP Discord server. And yeah, I like PvP. I like meeting people. And I like King and Kaiser and Ramberto and all the people in here. So let's go.
Perfect.
What's up? It's Ramberto. I'm a 16-year-old battler from Southern California, and yeah, I love this game. It's a ton of fun.
All right, perfect.
And last but not least, Stefan, kind of a new to the game since 2018. I've been playing, but even from that point on to now, I've seen drastic improvements. Just to say that right out.
All right, perfect. Thank you guys for coming and joining me for this video collaboration. So we're gonna start all the way back to December 4th, 2018, more than a year ago. The title of the update was called "Coming Soon: Show Your Skills with Pokemon Go Trainer Battles," and that's all we really need to talk about. Obviously, we can talk about the images and how it looked like, but give me your first impressions when you heard it. Okay, tell me where you were, what you were doing when you heard this news come through.
So for me, I was probably playing. I can't remember exactly where I was. I was probably just grinding out for the day. And I was looking through the announcement, and it was posted in every single Discord I was with. And I'm like, wow, we are getting away from the PvE concept of the game, and we're really going into battles. And just from the screenshot alone, it's getting hyped. And I knew a lot of people that played the main series games competitively, and they were texting me like, "Hey, this is going to be huge. Like, this is going to be sick." And I'm pretty happy with where it is now.
Perfect. Anyone else?
I remember when I first read that update. My Discord wasn't really excited. Like, I was one of those people who were like, "Yo, we get to battle each other," and there was like no hype for it whatsoever. So like honestly, I remember when I read that and I was happy, and my hopes were like they were shattered real quick. So I was waiting to see what what was in the future. But yeah, I remember reading this and I was like, I don't know, we'll see.
I was pretty skeptical of it at first, just because I'm so used to the core series way of battling that I didn't really know how a turn-based game would work. So I was interested to see what they would do, but I was pretty skeptical of it at first.
Yeah, I share the same sentiment here. The first time I saw it, I was like, how are they going to do this? Like, I hope it's not like tap, tap, swipe, But they definitely added depth afterwards.
Yeah, for sure. For me personally, when people always ask me, like when I was live streaming or doing videos, and in comments they would ask me like, what's the one feature that you really want to come to the game? I'm like, not for me personally, but for the community. A lot of people said that they wanted PvP to come out, and that's what they were waiting for. Lots of like players said they would come back for it, so I was really happy for them. But for me, I was like, I'm not really gonna dive too much into this. We'll see how it goes. It looks kind of cool. I saw some of the earlier videos where they were like previewing it. It looks like some of the gaming websites got access to it, and I'm like, okay, so it's not like it is in gym battles. So I thought that was interesting, but I personally didn't think it was anything I would get too involved in. But little did I know.
Yeah, right.
The next one is the developers' insights, scaling challenges for trainer battles, and just basically talked about the concept of the battles, like how they wanted more Pokemon involved. That's why they split between Great, Ultra, in Master League. Talking about how this had like really big implications for the game in general. There were changes this is where they changed super effective from 1.4 to 1.6 because they really wanted to emphasize type advantage, and that made like a pretty huge difference. It like that made like where it like some Pokemon with superior stats might have won out against matchups they should have lost in the main series game or logically because but with that going from 1.4 to 1.6 it made a really big difference. This is where second charge moves came through, which obviously had implications later on for Team Go Rocket and for some raids when you want to add some second moves to especially for legacy move Pokemon. A lot really changed because of PP that impacted the game at large. But what would you think when you read through or took a look at these the developer insights?
I'm gonna pass on this one since I don't. This update is a little bit lost to me. So Nightwing, we can go right into you.
Oh, damn. See, I was going to say the same thing. I'm not big into the numbers. So I saw that and I knew I rated. And at that point in time, because I never actually battled, when it comes to like the damage percentages, like it's only a small sliver that it ever changes. That I only saw because I rated. So when I read all that, like I think I do remember reading that for the first time, but I was just like, okay, it's not gonna have really any effect on battles or nothing like that. And oh boy, I was wrong.
Roberto or Stefan?
Well, for me personally, when I saw this, I was like, so many Pokemon that I would usually just transfer, just throw them out because they were useless at the time. Skarmory, like freaking Azumarill. I would put the Azumarill in gyms, and I would be like, man, I wish that I could use this tankiness for something. So, like, aside from adding double charge moves, which you could put a Rock Slide on Machamp and use it as a gym battler or whatever, but what this specific post gave for me was like, okay, we can actually find uses for Pokemon we would usually just disregard at all. I still didn't grasp fully the meta, but it was just like it was a real hype moment for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's a really good point. It certainly changed your perspective overnight on how you viewed Pokemon. Like I remember when I caught like a Azumarill. I'm like, oh, this is pretty high level, 100% Azumarill. Too bad this Pokemon will never have any use. And I speculated that it might. The only way it could ever have use in PvP. So I used to do a podcast. Is I said it had to utilize abilities. Like that's how Azumarill is able to be effective in the main series game. It uses I think it's like Belly Drum or something like that, or uses other abilities or held items. But they presented a really creative solution by utilizing CP, and I was really skeptical when they said that they were going to break it out by CP, but it ended up being the right answer. So I thought that was pretty cool. Okay, we're going to move on to the next update, and this jumps a little bit forward to January 31st, 2019.
Oh, that's upsetting.
What's upsetting?
I honestly thought when you went to the other one where you were when you read this update, I thought there would have been an update when they launched PvP. I remember exactly the.
Okay, yeah. Well,
yeah,
why don't we talk about that? Because I don't think there was a update. I think there was a tweet. I should have pulled the tweets, but I think there was a tweet. Okay, so tell me what you were doing when Trainer Battles PvP launched.
Oh, I got you. So I was at Mount Fuji eating lunch or eating dinner. And I was with my friend and her sister, and her sister's the one I play with. So it launched maybe while we were paying the check. So I was like, "Yo, we need to go. We need to go right now. We need to try this." And I remember we battled in the car, Master League, first battle tie. I had no idea what happened.
No.
I had no idea what happened. But like, I'm not gonna lie, like the tie drew me in. Like I was there. Like I lost my first one, or like, well, I didn't lose my first one, but I was like, I don't know. I played the battle. I liked it, and there was of course like mad lag, but
Yeah.
it was still so much fun.
Yeah.
Like I remember sitting in the car, my friend just sitting there all like mad that we were just battling each other. Yeah, it was. I will not forget that moment. Weird, but yeah.
How about for the rest of you guys?
This is great. I was out to dinner with 7 of my Discord mods and admins for my local area, talking about, hey, PvP is going to come out soon. What do we want to do? Do we want to do like a gym leader kind of bracket? Do we want to have how do we host tournaments and that kind of thing? And I believe Niantic had pulled the switch on PvP before tweeting it out. And some of my guys were like, hey, there's a new feature in the game. They were looking through the stuff like, oh, we can battle now. And I'm like, let's run it. And so we were fighting all while at dinner or at a meal like Nightwing. And we're all like battling each other. And oh my God, the excitement was amazing. I remember one of the people there spent 400,000 Stardust on second moves because it was glitching for her and it wasn't showing that it was costing anything.
Okay.
And so after like she restarted her game, like, wait, where did my Stardust go? And so we had a really good laugh about that. But man, just the first, like I was throwing Torkoal and Kangaskhan out in spites, and we were just doing really weird, like completely like random spicy off meta picks, and it was really fun.
My first experience with that's probably not too exciting. I just remember seeing it. I was like, "Oh, cool! It's out now," and then just going back to whatever I was doing.
Yeah.
I wasn't too hyped about it, but I was excited that it was there. But at that time, there was nothing. Oh, I didn't have any practice partners, so there was nothing I could really do about it then.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no. When it first came out, I think I was grinding at that point in time, and they're like, "Oh, it came out. Let's battle." And I remember like using Mewtwo and Latios, and I remember seeing like I forget what Pokemon I was using, but like maybe it was like Giratina or something. I was seeing that Dragon Claw and Shadow Sneak weren't charging to the same amount, but I'm like, oh, they're both 3-bar moves. Like this doesn't make any sense. Like what's happening, right? But I remember it was similar. It was fun. I tried it out. I didn't think I would be too involved at that point in time.
Well, like for me specifically, the second it dropped, I made a troll team right away.
Mm.
Because when I started the game, I didn't know any metas. I didn't know anything, but there was a lot of Aron in my area. So I made like Leron and Agron, and I would use these to battle gyms. Now that's a pain when you're fighting a Blissey or whatever, but the fun part was that I had a maxed out perfect IV Agron. So I put 2 attacks on him, and I made the fast attack Dragon Tail.
Yeah.
So everyone who wanted to battle me, they wanted like Master League. Let's just go all in, right? And first thing they come with is the Rayquaza, always. And you get that son of a gun on the other end, tanking every single shot and inflicting insane amount of damage. And I would just spam that Dragon Tail over and over again. And people would be like, how is this Agro so powerful all of a sudden? Like, it was insane. Like, for me, it was like a couple of hours in which we just battle back and forth sometimes.
Yeah, no, certainly. It's crazy. Actually, one update that I didn't talk about that actually precede these ones is they did a lot of changes beforehand to really prepare for PvP. One of them was the big stat rework. I think that was like in October or something like that. And it really dramatically changed some Pokemon. And actually, Aggron was one of those Pokemon that it really dramatically changed. It actually reduced Aggron's defense by quite a bit. And certainly done on purpose to make some of the glass cannons, like Machamp, for example, a little bit more bulky, like Gengar, etc. And then, like, not make those defensive tanks a little less defensive in preparation for PvP. So it's certainly something that they were aware of and very conscious of, and that's something I'm very appreciative that Niantic, at least some of the developers, have like a really good understanding of what are the things that actually impact battles.
Their last update proves that more than ever. They literally wrote that like Swampert was supposed to be powerful, but not that powerful.
Yeah, no, it was great. They
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
have a great pulse in the meta. So let's talk about the first rebalance. So I'll go first. So when I saw this, to be honest, I was absolutely shocked. The reason why is that when I think about when raids came out, raids were huge and like everyone was doing them, but we didn't get an update for raids for like, 5, 6, 7 months, 7 months in, maybe even like a year. It might be even a year before like even an interface change happened, and to be like 2 months in and have like a rebalancing in trainer battles, like that was pretty cool, and it had some like pretty interesting implications in the Twilight meta, because this was literally the day before Twilight started, and I think I had my first tournament like 2 days later. So some of the changes include like the following trainer battle moves will receive more damage. So waterfall, not huge impact in PvP in general right now, but big one, Smackdown. That totally made that like foreshadowed like how good Bassadon was going to be later on, like how it made Tyranitar way more relevant in Twilight. Shadowclaw energy increase made Sableye relevant in Twilight. Obviously, increased the viability of Haunter later on in Ultra and Masters. Giratina, Razor Leaf. That was a huge one. Like that's massive, and I think like the Razor Leaf change was in direct response to how dominant Azumarill was. If you think, go ahead.
No. I mean, you're like Razor Leaf. Wow, it's been so long. Razor Leaf has always been so like as long as I can remember. Razor Leaf has always been as Razor Leaf is right now, like so dominant, so crazy. I forgot that it wasn't always. It must have. How much did it increase there?
I think it went from like 4 to 5.5.
That's
insane. Like when I saw the numbers, I honestly thought it was a mistake. I was like, no way. Like there's no way, because when you think about like hard hitting moves, you thought about like bite and dragon breath and all this stuff, right?
I would have lost money if I would have totally bet that Razor Leaf would have been nerfed before Hydro Cannon. Like I would have lost that bet. Like the fact that it's been allowed to go on, like it's been a very. When was this? Was it January? Like
January.
It's been a very long time since Razor Leaf hasn't been Razor Leaf.
But yeah,
so,
that
like,
was
yeah.
in absolutely direct response to Azumarill, because they saw in the metagame basically you just run Azumarill all the time, right? Like, and it has Ice Beam to counter ice types, right? And is so bulky that it can sometimes outbulk a lot of electrics, right? They just needed a way to counter down Azumarill. So in this case, just making an insane fast move.
That is definitely what it is. Like I still believe the nerf is coming. Like it has to. It can't remain the way it is.
The thing is, like, there's a lot of things that double resist and resist grass damage. So you think about Skarmory, you think about Altaria. So there are checks in the meta.
I just fought a Blaziken with my Shift Tree, and like it don't work. Like it won, but like I should not have done that many. Like how much damage to Blaziken?
Yeah,
like it's a fire type. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Another big one, Confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like Confusion was like Volt Switch before. It was total garbage. And then when they released the stats, and it was like basically a clone, like a slower clone of Dragon Breath, I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Like, this is nuts. And like that has had huge implications. Obviously in Twilight, Venomoth, right? Later in regionals, Gallade, in more freestyle meta, Bronzong, Claydol, Hypno. Oh,
You could say Slowbro for some people, not me, but some people for Sinister.
Yeah, it's had huge implications, right? And really changed like the psychic meta, really overnight. Frost Breath, not that big a difference. Ice Shard, another change. I don't know what the change was. Probably more damage. But man, we think about like Ice Shard, Lapras is probably the first one to come to mind,
Yep.
and how much more viable it made Lapras, and how it really changed the metagame there. And that was probably in response to Altaria, to try to like slow down the dominance of Altaria. So that just really shows you like how to the pulse of the metagame that these people at Niantic were. And that's something that honestly I joked all the time, like Niantic is like run by people that don't play the game, like don't understand the game, right? Like there's so many errors and glitches that happen the first like, up, I guess in this case, like 2.5 years. I'm like, clearly they've never like actually gone in out and done a bunch of raids or tried to bury a gym or catch Pokemon. Like, but this really made me like, they actually had a way better understanding of PvP than I had at this point in time.
When it comes to like Niantic, I'd be the first one to like bash them. I really would. But like I will say, like as of late, I mean that whole save PvP thing. After that happened, I was in. Like that. I'm not saying they can't do any wrong, but I do get that they listen and like, yo, people are gonna make mistakes. People are gonna mess up. But it's how you recover from those mistakes or how you recover from those mess ups that like show us what's going on. And I think at this point they've proven themselves when it comes to like they're not trying to do harm. They want to make it more fun for us, and I think they've succeeded.
Oh yeah, and then you have the other side of that where you have everyone who is angry towards Niantic about what they do, when they're not really aware of what's going on. I saw a Reddit post like, "Oh, where are the like the Feebas Motad days? Like, why don't we have had one of those recently?" Oh my God, people complained about that when that happened. And like it kind of puts into perspective how people don't understand the consequences for complaining like that.
You're never gonna make everyone happy.
Exactly.
But you got to do the best you can.
For sure.
And they're doing pretty good.
Yeah, and then charge attacks, body slam. Man, we think about Vigoroth. You think about Munchlax, right? You think about Celio.
Yeah.
Right now, oh man, they made Ironhead, not so much. A little bit of impact. Dazzling Gleam, not so much. Psyshock made it way better for Ninetales, Bronzong later on. Yeah. Like these are like kind of moves like we kind of just take for granted that they've always been there, but these are like conscious changes that they made to the metagame pretty early on.
I had no idea about those last 4 charge moves. I can't even front.
Probably the first nerf, they nerfed Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt used to be 45 energy.
Oh, that would be amazing.
35 energy for like, I think it was like 80 damage or something like that, right? Like,
Jeez.
It was like, for Boulder, it actually sometimes made more sense to use a Magnemite with Thunderbolt than use a Magneton with the Legacy Discharge. And then when that nerf happened, I remember I maxed out a Magnemite and was using it in Boulder. And then once that nerf came and they moved them all to it made sense, like Flamethrower, Ice Beam, and Thunderbolt all to 55 and 90. But it kind of hurt that they made that big of a nerf. And then
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
What, like, so not off topic, but like, so in every game, there's always going to be a meta and there's always going to be something that's broken. As long as they fix what's broken, like in a reasonable amount of time, like that's perfectly fine. But what do you like? I love having fun with things when they're kind of broken. Like, what was I'm trying to think of like an example recently in the game.
Did you guys play with the return when it was broken for like a half an hour?
No.
It was set at 40 energy with the like 130 damage. That was
what?
That was fun for like a good half an hour.
Imagine you're in a tournament. Oh my
That's
gosh.
great. That's great. But that's what I'm saying. Like some of these things when they happen, like the madness of it all is amazing.
Yeah.
Roberto, you're probably like, let's do this remote battle right now. You lead with your dragon air.
Just I bring a sand slash with return. It just wipes the floor with everything.
Yeah, that was awesome. That would obviously, for a short period of time, the lock on at 6.
Oh my god!
Oh, it was disgusting.
Oh my god! It's still low key, like
it's
really
good. It's good now, but it was unstoppable.
I was at work when that happened. I was so mad. I couldn't. I just heard about it. I watched videos about the lock on.
Yeah, for sure. And then they standardized Ice Punch, Fire Punch, and Thunder Punch to be all at the same level, and that probably was a good change. I don't know what they were beforehand, but to be all at 40, 50 made them like pretty good utility elemental punches, which is what they were in the main series game, right? So they were good coverage, and yeah, they were great for Hitmonchan, Hypno later on, so pretty cool. And then they added a bunch of moves here. Dragon Tail and Arbok, not really that useful. Meteor Mash, pretty good for Clefable. Psyshock on Ninetales, great. Psyshock on Alolan Ninetales, amazing. Wigglytuff Ice Beam, like, presents it some, like, later on, we would find out that it would give it some good coverage, especially against grass poisons. And then Fire Punch on Alakazam. Rock Slide on Machamp. Was huge for what would be huge for Masters if a lot of people did Masters, but also was good for gym battles and whatnot. Thunder Punch on Muck, we're seeing that now. Snarl on Alolan Muck wasn't that big a deal until the buff. Wheezing Thunderbolts.
Oh my bad. Thunder Punch on Muck. I love that. Can we take a moment? Just you don't even need to talk about it. Just like to honor Thunder Punch on Muck. Like, thank you, Lord.
It gives so many more options than I did with just Dark Pulse and was Acid Spray in the game at this time?
No, Acid Spray was in the game. We're gonna talk about Acid Spray pretty soon.
Okay,
probably like Sludge Wave, Dark Pulse, right?
Hopefully I didn't miss that update, but we'll see. Raikou with Shadow Ball was really good.
That's a thing that people use too. Like that's
Rainbow,
so yeah.
Ludicolo Ice Beam.
Ludicolo Ice Beam.
Oh man. Before it had Solar Beam, Hydro Pump, right? Like we think about all these things. Roserade with Grass Knot was actually, I think this was around the time that Breloom got Grass Knot, and I was like going crazy trying to catch a bunch and do a bunch of trades for Breloom, and I think that week had just ended where it was like a event exclusive move, and then they released Grass Knot and Roserade, and it was better than Breloom. I'm like, oh my gosh, what?
All that work. Look at
Bite,
Drapion.
Bite with Drapion. Oh man,
it's really useful now.
That update didn't age well, guys.
Yeah.
Togekiss too.
Togekiss and Flamethrower, good coverage, man. Like, they were
Especially
definitely
Cliffhanger and stuff like that.
It made some really big changes later on. And these are like stuff that happened so early on that we forget about it.
I forgot all about this.
I had some pretty big
like
changes.
them throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. That's the first thought I had when I saw that list, to be honest.
Yeah.
But some of these just became staples in their own right in other aspects of the game, which is awesome, and like gave people the ability to invest differently.
Absolutely, and that really showed. Definitely, some of these were just guesses on their part, but definitely some of them were like them really understanding the game, which is, when I look back on it, like that's pretty cool.
A lot of things with success have dumb luck associated with it.
Yeah.
So I'm okay. Like throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it worked. I mean, stuff stuck.
Yeah.
Yo, Thunder Punch Muck.
The next one, a much shorter article. Stat boost come to trainer battles. Okay.
Oh, this is amazing.
I remember
in the middle of Twilight.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Completely changed, right? Now you're talking about Venomoth was amazing. It was like, oh, should I run Venomoth or Golbat to be anti-Toxicroak? I'm like, I don't know. Like it's kind of close. Like they kind of have like pretty even matchups. As soon as Silverwind got a chance to boost, I'm like, no brainer, Venomoth all the way.
I remember this launching. This launched the day before our remote Twilight was supposed to start, and everyone like lost their minds. And I remember I was like, I'm not getting a Venomoth. Like I don't care at all. And then someone like scrimmed against me with it. I went, whoa. Like I saw the boost happen, and that was ridiculous. I saw the boost happen the first time someone used a Silverwind against me. So like that probably was bad because I was like, this is amazing. You use this like you get it all the time.
It's basically invincible.
Yeah, and also like there's like that's a meme. The boost, like that's yeah.
Amazing. Ancient Power, oh man, huge implications on Togekiss and
Relicanth.
So many Pokemon. Ominous Wind, right? Like on Spirit Team later on, and Driplim. Like,
Yep.
oh man,
Do you think this was an example of them throwing at stuff at a wall and seeing what sticks? Because these are all moves that are
No, this
all
is
used today.
not
Like,
only that, like this is a bit more complicated to me at least, because that was the first question that was on everybody's mind: how we buff and debuff. Because like in Pokemon games, that's like the
Staple.
premium,
Yeah.
like yeah, that's a staple. Like everybody expects that. And I was also thinking about, because the first time I tested PvP, I'm like, okay, but how do I debuff? Like, there's no way to throw something at the other guy or stuff like that. So the way they made this, like some of these are RNGs. Okay, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Good on them. But others are like Power Up Punch and other moves. Like, yeah, those are just guaranteed, and you found other uses for them that were not just PvP. The Team Rockets, but that's later on. But
Absolutely.
when I saw this, I saw, okay, this is how they're gonna do it, you know. So at least there was like a lot of foreshadowing, like all the way back. They thought about it, and they were just like rolling these out gradually to see, like, okay, what happens if we do this? Okay, what happens if we do that? You know, stuff like that.
Yeah, no,
That is how I saw it at the time.
absolutely. Yeah, no, it was great. Yeah, it was. And you're right. That's a very good point. This was the first time that an in-game mechanic was influenced by RNG. Up until this point, it was all like nothing. No game mechanic influence was about luck. It was like obviously picking the lead and picking your team, all that stuff, but nothing in the game. It was all like deterministic in terms of like the order of things, and then the only way you can affect it is with your skills and luck picking. But introducing this RNG was a dangerous thing for them, but they were able to implement it pretty effectively and right on time. Yeah, right in time for obviously the Mammoth Swine Community Day was probably an influencing factor on why they released it at this point in time.
Yeah, they gave people a very good ability to grind up some Sinnoh stones, so nobody would be unhappy.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely. Yeah, no,
it was and they like said you have to do battles to get them, so like more people will be trying out PvP at the time.
Yeah,
So
no,
it was a good move altogether.
absolutely. The next one is I think this one really. There's only one thing here, but not to be underestimated.
Oh, man.
Arguably, this is the one move that was broken that they left in for so long.
I don't care. I love it.
Power Up Punch. What was it like? 3540 when it was on release.
Yes.
3540, right?
Yeah.
Like it didn't do like a ton of damage, but just enough to make it matter.
Yeah.
It's the rise of Medicham.
Yeah.
Medicham. It turned Medicham. I remember I made a Medicham like kind of. Well, obviously we made Medicham for Boulder. I'm like, it's pretty good. You know, it's like a top 20 Pokemon, but you know, it kind of gets like destroyed by Skarmory and by Altaria and all that stuff. But man, once it got Power Up Punch. Okay, what did you think when you saw this? When you first tried it out?
I did.
For trying it out, yeah. I mean, you stack these and you the first time I started stacking power punches and the counter damage just started racking up. Oh my god! And then the bait potential as well with like Medicham versus Altaria, the ability to bait a fighting type move which does nothing. When an ice punch would KO after like I think 2 boosts.
Yeah,
that was sick.
I remember I said I wasn't gonna make one. I'm not wasting all that dust. And then someone used it against me, and he 3-0'd my team using Metachan as the lead.
yeah.
Yo, I maxed out the 93 I had right then and right there. Like I was like, nah, like that was ridiculous. Like it's just I mean, even up until recently, like if you let that get going, it's pretty much like it's unstoppable. Like you have to throw like a hard counter at it.
Yes.
You cannot let it get 3 power punches off before you have more than half of its health gone, or you are in trouble.
Yeah, I had like a local guy who I used to battle quite often. He stopped playing like a few months back, but his top pick was a shiny Venusaur he had with Frenzy Plant, and he would destroy me every time with it. like whatever he did. So the moment this came out, I was like, okay, I'll max out the Medicham. Let's troll him a bit. So I used like Power Up Punch and Ice Punch, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
So like after 2 Power Up Punches on Venusaur, and using one shield to shield off from Frenzy Plant so I don't die, then the next Ice Punch was just an instant hit KO.
Yeah, man.
I think I kind of discouraged him from this point on because I would always find like something to counter his. He had like a Quillfish. That's like a Pokemon I never thought I'd use for anything, honestly. And he had like a Beast one. But that's a different story. Yeah.
That's awesome. But yeah, some pretty big implications and really changed the fighting mechanic, like fighting Pokemon, like overnight. Like
It gave birth to the bait too.
yeah.
Like-
I would
like
make
this
a
was-
crater in my phone with this.
Like
Yeah.
bait. It was just this was the wait. Was there anything used before this?
That was like that baity? No, it had like
No.
that much
Like-
implication. Yeah.
Yeah, because like blocking a power up punch hurts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have a really good clip of 2 of my friends battling in Montreal, and one of my friends wipes the other guy's entire team with a mud shot power up punch Poliwrath. The entire 3 of it, the entire team. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Feels
that was-
bad.
Oh, it's
Yeah, it
crazy.
feels real bad.
So many implications out of this, and they left it for so long, but it made fighting Pokemon so amazing. Like, think about this: like you could beat, Hitmonchan could beat a Skarmory. Skarmory, one of the best Pokemon in Great League, in the one shield through just power up punches. That's nuts. That made no sense.
Yeah.
Made no
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
The first time I found out I could beat a Skarmory with Medicham, I was just in shock because to me that matchup is always Skarmory will always win.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, boom, I was winning. It was insane.
Yeah.
Boom, you were winning.
Boom, yo,
Yeah.
That's
let it,
literally
yo,
what happened to me.
Oh,
let a
man.
Medichan go off. That is a problem. Like that is on the same level as like a Venomoth boost.
Yeah.
Like it's just like the game, the chips are stacked against you,
Yeah,
like
and
so hard there.
Medicham could do a ton of damage in the 2 shield matchup against Azumarill. Like, didn't really make any sense. Like, it was.
That's
it
the
was-
lead.
It
That was your lead.
It was too safe of a lead. It was incredible.
Literally in Dortmund, I used a strat with a very specific Hitmonchan I had and Thunder Punch because everybody like will come up with Deoxys defense is their lead.
Yeah.
So I would like put something to counter that. And the second they switch to Azumarill, I switch to Hitmonchan with Thunder Punch, and they don't shield because they think it's power up punch.
Exactly.
I use one, and then the second one's Thunder Punch, like leaving it at 1 HP. It
Yeah.
was so good.
Oh man, that fighting. They had their day, but they're gonna have their day a little bit later on as well. The next one is this one here is kind of buried as well. Earth Power was released when they announced the new lures. So what would you think of Earth Power?
I didn't have a whole lot of faith. I started practicing with it a little bit with Claydol the most, and the fact that it could hit really hard and as well possibly lower the defense, because up until now I hadn't been loving the defense boost moves because it just wasn't happening enough. But the with like Silverwind, for a lot of the meta, it doesn't hit that hard. But Earth Power is it's a chunky move. Like it's kind of like a tank.
For sure.
I loved Earth Power. I still love Earth Power.
Yeah.
Nidoqueen and Ferocious, great Pokemon.
I think
Earth Power.
Nidoqueen in Ferocious was the first time that Earth Power was like truly meta. It was useful. It was useful with Claydol, but it really became like a staple Pokemon when it came out to Sinister. So it had like this far-reaching implication, and just like the fact that it was 10 energy cheaper than Earthquake, and the chance for the debuff, like really made a change. And it was just kind of buried in this article, so it's kind of cool.
I think the main thing for me about this announcement was the Probo Pass because it came out in the middle of regionals, and I remember seeing this video of a Probo Pass beating a
I can't believe-
Bastion.
Oh, yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, I posted that video where like
Yeah, I
Pro Pass just absolutely annihilated a Bastiodon. And like literally, I think I completely forgot about that one in this one. Wow, that was buried as well. I remember.
I was so happy I did my regionals before this.
I remember I was like, we were preparing the day before Argentinian regionals, and
Oh my God.
I've never seen more stressed out battlers there because they were all like,
right.
they're all like,
I watched that.
what were we
Yeah,
doing? Are we gonna run Probo Pass? Are we gonna not? We had like a little mustache for Probo Pass.
That was the Zionic mustache. Like that's where that was born. Yeah, wow.
Oh man,
This update came out 2 days before my regionals as well. So there were
That's-
3 people using Probo Pass, but other than that, but definitely a sleeper pick. Like that was sick.
Because no one knew. Like no
No one
one
knew.
Yeah, no one knew. No one knew. So you got that like that. No one's gonna have a lot of practice on a Probo. No one's gonna have any practice on a good Probo Pass.
Yeah.
So like, you didn't know it was going up against the unknown, and no one wants to go into that with your regionals.
Correct.
So yeah, this was I remember this was a big update.
Yeah, that was huge. It's kind of just buried in there.
Yeah, it is buried. I saw like the second I saw Word Power, I was like, oh, this is Tropinch's move
Yeah,
on the spot, because I was like, Tropinch is gonna be in Community Day, and I don't see any viable move for it because it already has Earthquake. If that's gonna be the special one,
Yeah,
So the second I saw Word Power, I called it all the way back there.
yeah, that was
Like
great.
this, and also like, just to add a side note, the second I saw Probo Pass being announced, and I was like, oh man, they're gonna introduce weakness policy.
Oh
my gosh.
You know,
that would have been.
and I was like, holy snap! If this makes it into the game,
Man.
this will make switching and stuff so much fun. You know, and maybe you can get items, and my mind started rolling. You know,
There's still a lot that can be done, right?
Oh,
This
yeah.
shows you it can be potential. All right, let's go to the next one. New attacks in the update. So let's talk about the elephant in the room.
This was like yesterday.
The switch
when was
pause.
this?
Switch pause. July 9th.
Oh, I remember this, yo. I remember where I was, yo.
Okay, switch pause. I remember like people. Okay, there's actually a lot of implications in this update, huge. But let's talk about the switch pause. Like this update is humongous. Like I think this is like, in terms of like impact on the community, it's like probably on par with the one that just came out. Maybe even bigger. It's actually probably the biggest one. So, what were your thoughts when you saw the switch pause?
I did a remote tournament, I think the day of, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is like unplayable, because it was just so bad. It took out a whole element of the strategy of the game. It was just like dumbed down in a sense, which I really, really hated.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally viable. Yeah, Nightwing, go.
I was on I went to a live tournament. Like this happened 30 minutes before the live tournament was supposed to start.
Oh my god.
So like I'll never forget this update because like I was with battlers. Like I was with maybe like 50 people.
Did they cancel the
And, like,
tournament?
Nah, let it, yo, rain or shine. It has to happen. Yo, it was funny, but it was awful at the same time. Like I remember just like I remember looking down at my phone and looking at the guy and just going, I don't know what's going on. Like this is awful. And like you can recall and then send out the same Pokemon. I did that like twice. I almost threw my phone across the room. Like I was, what? And like I was scrimming with someone like when it dropped. So like it happened, and it wasn't like you have to update. Like they just flipped the switch. So like I was battling with someone. I clicked rematch, and everything was different. Like I was just utterly so confused. People were talking about Wigglytuffs. I was like, you can't even, like, you have to click a button and then everything just stops. Like Wigglytuff, bro. Everything is broken.
It's so confusing. And I remember this actually came out. I think like 3 or 4 days after Dortmund. After Dortmund, like European Season 1 championship.
Thank God. Can you imagine if it came out before?
No,
thank God.
But the thing is, it was way better. It came out afterwards because in the semifinals is where the switch that the switch that saved PvP. Right?
Yeah.
Literally,
Amazing.
like one of my most freaked out moments when I saw that happen. And the developer Matt from Niantic was there, and I watched the video later on where Holly posted interviewing about him, and I'm sure he was like on his flight home, and he's like, "Oh man, I think I might just ruin PvP."
That's what I knew. That's what
he's like,
I knew.
He knew this change was coming. I'm sure they had like crazy debates inside, right? And then when they released it, and everyone was like hashtagging and tweeting, and I'm all supported. But I'm like, I really didn't have much faith that something was gonna change, because like, how many times have I complained to Niantic? So many times, right? People have like created these giant Reddit posts and all this stuff, create all this noise. Then
this was the moment.
Then the Ghost Stadium, I think it was initiated by Flark fiasco. In the Ghost Stadium stream, there was like 500 people on that stream, and it was like people were upset, but it was still like a very positive stream, which I think was really good. Like people were obviously, some people were saying hateful things, but for the most part, they honestly had an honest discussion on like the viability of this Switch and why the old Switch was better, but they had a balanced discussion. It wasn't just like change it back, we hate you, Niantic. It was good. It was very positive, and people came together. And then when that message came out saying that they were going to change it, what were your thoughts? What was your reaction?
Oh my god, I remember. I look back on it now. I remember a lot of people complain. A lot of like the other raids versus PvPers, raiders versus PvPers, and they were complaining like, "Oh, Niantic would never get back to us like this before." But they've never made like such an organized stand against what something has happened before, and they fixed it back pretty quickly, right? Like
2 days, 48 hours,
2 days.
Clap it up! Clap it up for the player base, guys. What a bunch of players to motivate a company like Niantic that is so huge and so above the individual to go back on this was amazing, and it was awesome. Like, I was so hopeful for the future of this game when that happened.
I think obviously I credit a lot to the player base, but you have to give some credits to how much the developers actually know PvP and trainer battles.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
like the thing is, like, realistically, the people that hardcore battle, right, or even people that battle every day are like a small fraction of the player base.
Yes.
Right, and probably don't even make up like a fraction of the income that Niantic made. But because these guys, because it was such an organized, positive, and constructive way of presenting it, and their understanding of what it actually means, like, really is the reason why this all came together. So it was a perfect storm, and really brought the player base closer together, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah,
I think that if you look in like in 5-10 years, whenever, if you look back at the history of PvP, like, this is probably one of the most important like updates ever. Like, for like, not obviously like it broke the game, yeah, everyone was mad, but like whenever it united the community, which sounds corny and cheesy, but like you united a community that really, not saying wasn't united, but everyone band together against some cause. Like, it didn't matter where you were. You saw tweets from everywhere. You saw messages in the Discords. It was a community type of thing. Like that. Again, I watched that Avengers video so many times.
Oh my god!
Like, so many times. But I love that movie, and then like seeing all these PvP names that I'm just like, oh yeah, like this is like, so like it is. PvP wouldn't be where it is today if they didn't do that. And like,
oh man, I wish I could find that video.
I retweeted it like 1 billion times. I mean, I could find that in a second. But PvP wouldn't be where it is right now without that. So yeah, like these what I said earlier, like, it's not like you're gonna make mistakes, and everyone kind of makes mistakes. There's gonna be bumps in the road, but it's how you handle it. And this was the moment where I was like, oh, all this other time, like, Niantic won't do anything. Like, Niantic strikes again, and they 48 hours. I remember I was so mad that I went to that jungle tournament. Like, I was like 48 hours, and it was fixed. Like I was dead set. Like nothing will change. Like this is all right. This is PvP, boys. Let's go through. Like let's see what happens.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was following this, but like I wasn't impacted at that particular time by this specific change. But I was following it on Twitter. I was following like the streams, and it really stuck out the fact that this was addressed. Like usually they wouldn't even address things; they wouldn't acknowledge them. That doesn't exist, you know. It shows some sort of long-term dedication to the project, which is PvP, which is really nice.
It's amazing. There's so many. I take it back. This update's way bigger than the one that just happened. Like this, like there's so much to this. Okay, so the Switch one, the changing back Switch, that in itself was monumental. The next one was changing from 3 rings, like tapping to charge move animation.
Dig a crater in my phone with the old mechanic.
Okay, wait, no. Let's take a quick poll. When you saw this, you liked it or you didn't like it?
Hated it. Hated it.
Okay, Kaiser, you hated it?
Yeah.
Nightwing?
I don't play Fruit Ninja.
You don't? That's the number one meme. It's like Fruit Ninja. Okay, Ramberto?
I didn't like it. I thought it was going to be so weird.
And then Seven, did you like it?
Personally, when I was like tapping the old system, I would like feel like I'm doing damage to the other guy. You know, get into the whole thing. I'm like, yeah, get that. Get wrecked, scrap, you know? Yeah. And to an extent, they took it away. Okay. But they replaced it with something good. So props to that.
In the
I was
long
with
run,
you up until that last sentence.
Yeah. In the long run, way better. I was at the same position. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm playing Fruit Ninja. I hate this game, right? But then I look back at like, one, it's way more palatable to look at by doing the swiping animation than it is by tapping.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, but against Team Go Rocket, that wouldn't be the same because like
you're
not playing against an individual. You're not playing against an individual.
Yeah.
The spamming like you're like get wrecked, you know? That's gone because it's just a bot on the other end of the server. You know?
Yeah.
It's not the same.
I think this is like a really big long run play. The tapping, I miss doing that because like I missed it
so easy
because it was so easy. I could always get it. When the Fruit Ninja stuff came out, right, and the swiping animation, I was like, I couldn't get it. I was like, man, am I gonna have to like practice this and Ace Trainer things? I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
No, they intentionally did it for fighting specifically.
But, I mean, and I practiced. I remember I would go in with like a team of just all power up punch mons, like all fighting, all sky attack mons. Like, I can't get it. Why can't I click all these bubbles?
Yeah.
So like, I'm with you where I get like the long run and it's better, more appeasing. But like, we knew what we had. Like we had it for so long.
But the thing is, and think about like Pokemon Worlds. Imagine like showing to 15,000 people, just us like smashing the iPad. We would got laughed at. I'm not gonna lie.
I can agree with that.
People would have been like,
"I'm with you," but like, I miss it, man. I miss it. And he was right. Like every tap that you tap so intently, that's like you're like tapping them in the face. Like you're like I miss that so much.
Exactly. Yeah. This so much. This.
I will say,
some of the times, with comparing like Ghost to Grass, if you miss one Grass bubble, you don't get the excellent. I dislike that. Where it's like some of them are like, oh hey, if you miss 2 or even 3 bubbles, you still get the excellent. Yeah. Rather than if you miss 1, you're screwed. That's the one thing I'm like, hey, like a very small skill gap there, but yeah.
The thing that I think was really important about introducing the bubbles is it made undercharging a little bit more prevalent and available. Like it really introduced that as an actual strategy because it was there before, but it was really hard to do.
It was very rare. You definitely see it way more often now because like it's a little easier to actually do. You just don't do anything on the screen. I did under tapping a couple times in my tournaments early on. And,
we saw.
We
saw King,
but it didn't really catch on until these bubbles came out, which I think was a really good point. Man, crazy! Like those are 2 huge changes in the long run.
Yeah,
switch back.
I will add to like the whole like, and maybe Steph, maybe you can agree or not agree. Like So like I guess my revenge now with like not tapping on the screen and like with little taps to your face. Like if I know I don't have to click bubbles, I won't click bubbles. And I get some satisfaction from that. Like, and I know that sounds super weird. I can't even explain it if I tried. But like,
No.
I get satisfied. Like, you don't deserve my bubbles. No,
like a
take this
flash.
hydro cannon.
You take them. They're yours.
Yeah. Like I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
The thing that I
No,
like
what you mean.
Go ahead,
was
Roberto.
that it gave you the opportunity to like bluff a charged move.
I love that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I know I still do that today.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, let's go over these moves because there's quite a few. Some of these moves are pretty big.
But just right off the bat, let me say, this is the day my Groudon cried. Because I would like just to give you a little history. When I started, all I wanted to do is like play by myself. I didn't know that there was a community even because I didn't read anything online or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to do raids by myself. So I defeated the Magikarp, and the next day I saw Rayquaza. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, that didn't fare out now. No, it didn't. 17 rejoins later, I gave up. So, okay, I was like, okay, let's aim small and try to work it out. So I saw a 3-star raid, and it was a Scyther. I barely beat it. So I was like, okay, I gotta adjust. So I found like golems because they had like Stone Edge and, the Rock Throw move.
Mhm.
So I would, gather these up and then fight, and it became kind of a thing for me to fight two solo raids by myself. But now I'm all powered up. Now it doesn't matter. I have everything played out. I have maxed out modes, whatever. But back then, that was a huge challenge for me. It wasn't a 1v1. It was like me versus the level 3 raid. But specifically, Alolan Raichu has been a pain for me because I didn't have anything good at that point. And when they introduced Grassnot, oh my god.
Oh man. Couldn't use
This
your Groudon
destroyed
thing.
me. I did so many rejoins on this. I would be late for work.
Yeah.
I couldn't
definitely.
leave work at
Yeah,
times
yeah.
because I was
Some-
just trying to get them,
Yeah, for sure. And we definitely forget sometimes the implication that it can have in raids and in gym battles. Oh man. But Alolan Raichu getting Grass Knot,
Big
huge.
Big. Absolutely.
Huge.
Yeah.
coverage.
Great coverage. Like
One of the things is I would trade this all the time. People wouldn't understand why, but I
Yeah.
would see the potential. I just wanted to get a good IV1 for PvP
Yeah.
because I would see like this owning any ground type ever.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Huge
Absolutely
implications. And then the Sludge Bomb on Vileplume, not really that big right now. But this
Hypno.
one, huge. Hypno. Fire
Hypno.
Punch, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch. Hypno was already great beforehand, but man, now it has like potential.
These are just not only giving him coverage, but it's a great baiter.
Absolutely.
I'm pessimistic with it only because I just see it like, yo, try to use a TM on a Hypno. That's like, oh.
No, but that's a good point as well. This is like maybe the first mon where it had so many moves and like create this like TM fiasco that we have.
I
Yeah.
have used 107 charged TMs on Mew. Try me.
Oh,
try
yo, I gave up on Mew. I wasted like 60. I was like, nah, you don't win, Mew. You don't beat me. Like,
So pretty cool. Foul play on
move is not to play in this regard. Absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah.
Electro could be cool, but foul play is not really that great of a move.
Nope.
Moltres with wing attack.
Ooh,
People didn't see, but I saw it immediately. So I did a thing I called Project Moltres, which was just a thing for me to max out 6 Moltreses immediately, give them double attacks, and just whenever I needed the best fire type, fast TM the attack to fire spin. When I needed the best flying attacker, I would just fast TM, the attack back to wing attack.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things which I like because I have 6 Roserates, 6 Hundos, maxed out, dual attacks. I just changed the fast attack and now I have the best poison type. Change it again, I have the best grass type. You have no idea how much Stardust and resources this saves.
absolutely.
I love to see that more.
No, absolutely. And then all the birds getting ancient power as well, and new moves, drill peck.
Oh yeah, Ancient Power is a good shield breaker for Team Go Rocket even.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bronzong, big.
Bronze,
yeah, bulldoze. Big.
This changed Bronzon completely.
Yep.
Like
Completely.
Bronzon was like one of those like if you were like kind of like a hardcore player and you're like really into like technical matches, like you really love Bronzon. But I'm like, man, it's kind of just okay, right? Heavy Slam Flash Cannon. Yeah, if you get the bait and all this stuff. But man, Psyshock Bulldoze. Oh man, all of a sudden you're beating Bastodon, you're beating Probopass, you're beating Altaria in a legitimate match, right? Like really catapulted Bronzon way up the ladder.
I do remember this specific change coming out, and the second I saw it, I was like, okay, this is like Clefable with Meteor Mash. It's absolutely the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
Make him the anti-steel type.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely.
And, you know, the other implications with it, but you know, they just wanted to differentiate it in a way, which is nice. Like they made you think about this stuff you would never think about. I mean, Agron got SmackDown. Come on.
Yeah, no, SmackDown also like
Huge.
I remember for Bronzong, I didn't hop on that train. Shmusif, I remember he was like, "This is humongous. This is crazy," and he has like a
rank
like,
one.
I'm pretty sure
rank one.
he has
Shiny.
a rank one shiny, and he shoves that down your throat any chance he can get. So like I remember him with this being quite pleased.
Yeah, and then 2 huge moves introduced.
Charm.
Oh,
man.
the first very fast attack. I saluted this change.
This was right around jungle, right?
This
was jungle. This is the same.
Yeah,
update.
Wigglytuff getting charm.
This is like a huge implication because like everyone's like, oh no, they can never introduce a very fast move because in the main series game, the only moves available left are all like non-damaging moves. We're never gonna get a fast move. But you know, Niantic went to the Pokemon Company and proposed like, hey, let's not make just charm not non-damaging, but make it one of the hardest hitting fast moves in the game.
It is definitely. I'm using a Togekiss right now in one of my tournaments.
Oh man, it made Togekiss so relevant, right?
Yeah, I like, and you get ancient power. Like you get to the fast moves.
And,
like you might, it's a one and done type of thing, but like it's still like it made Togekiss what Togekiss is.
Charm-Chew.
And Wigglytuff as well. Wigglytuff is all I used Wigglytuff in jungle. I knew a lot of people who did.
Yeah.
Like it changed the jungle meta as we knew it.
It made Fortress. The thing is, I think it wasn't so much that people were. Certainly, Wigglytuff was good, but it really forced the rest of the counters and the team composition to change. Right now people were bringing more Fortress, and then instead of Vespiquen, and they realized like how good Fortress was against Vigoroth.
I knew Fortress was good. Right. Sorry. Go on.
Oh no, I didn't mean to interrupt. It's fine.
No, it's
okay.
The day they released Shiny Pineco, okay, the first raid I did, I got a shiny 98. I still didn't knew that IVs for PvP were different. You know.
I feel that, man.
Man, I have used this as an opener for months. It was my top pick.
Yeah.
We had like several guys who were still trying to battle with me and stuff like that. It was so much fun. But Fortress was just amazing. It was very flexible.
You know, so it created like this kind of anti-meta to the charm meta.
Yeah.
And you know, go ahead.
No, even that other move. But like I'm waiting until we get to that other move because that's very relevant right now.
Let's talk about the other move, Skull Bash. I remember doing a live stream talking about Skull Bash, and everyone's like, "Oh, such a trash move."
I called it a trash move.
75 energy, 130 damage. Like, when are you ever gonna get that with Blastoise? Why would you want it on Raichu? And then I remember on that stream, I think I sent a link to For the Battles. I was like, this is like where I said, man, it could be pretty good for Lapras, because especially in the Lapras mirror when people don't have Dragon Pulse. Everyone's like, no, it won't be good. No one's gonna use Skull Bash. Now
I have
Skull
one
Bash
matches.
Now.
That didn't age well.
Yeah, legit move, right? Legit move. Like, oh man, on Lapras makes a huge implication.
This isn't like a real world like application that this happened with me, but like the first time I realized so I had TMs to blow. I was just changing moves. I made a Santa hat Raichu with Charm and Skull Bash, and I was battling Taco on his stream, and he was trying to like meme me and not use any shields. So I like Charm Chew like wiped down his thing. He had an Electabuzz come out, and it was like it could have killed me if he would have just shielded, but I skull bashed him, and like he lost his mind. And then Raichu's defense went up, and it starts taking attack. Like I still got like I was like, what's going on here? And that was like the first time I was like, whoa, this is something. But never really like I'm not putting on a Blastoise, and I didn't want to. Even right now, like I had to make a new Lapras, and I did not want to do that for this cup. But Skull Bash is
So
that
good. It's so good.
it's yeah, like it
So
makes
good.
it even on the like the new like the defense buff is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, no, it's an amazing move, right?
It turns a tanky Pokemon into like a fortress.
Yeah.
Pun intended. Like
No, yeah. So really, really great. Let's go to the next update. That's a huge update.
that is a huge update.
Huge
Definitely.
update. So many changes.
Probably the biggest update. I think the biggest update for PvP
Yeah.
ever.
This one actually don't. Oh, this is where they removed piggybacking. The first piggybacking.
Bull.
I'm pretty
Interesting.
sure.
I don't.
And they removed undertapping.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah.
Or was that
Oh,
later
man.
on? Or was it? That's actually like been like they might remove piggybacking earlier, but this is where they remove undertapping.
Yeah.
I thought. All right. So there are glitches in games that people manipulate.
Yeah.
But then there's glitch and I don't know if I would consider this a glitch, but like there are things in the game. I'm gonna say glitch, but I don't know if that's the right word. But there are glitches in the games that like are available to the community as a whole that people can utilize and like that.
But I think the big thing is that it's so unintuitive, in the sense that like don't attack so you can win.
Yeah.
I think it added a little bit
obviously,
more depth to the game.
For sure, because you had to understand counts, right? You had to
Yeah.
understand how many fast moves and whatnot. But it was really unintuitive. But it was cool to see. Like when you saw someone undertap, you're like, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
undertap
like
to win the match."
and those are the moments that like you talked about, like
Yeah.
like those moments were at like Dortmund when you talked about the switch,
Yeah.
or you're talking about like,
The
or even like
undertap.
at Worlds, like 15,000 people watching you like tap on your phone.
Yeah.
Like those are the moments when those things happen, like that get the people pumped.
Yeah.
Like, so like that's just, I understand why they took it out. I don't know if I'll ever. I mean, and it doesn't really matter what I think, but like I don't know if I ever like I will agree with their like reasoning. Like it was another like it added depth to the game, and it didn't replace it with anything else. It just took it away,
For sure.
and I didn't like that.
I didn't like it either. I thought it. You guys can disagree or agree. I thought it reduced the skill gap a little bit with understanding mechanics and stuff. This was right after Montreal, right? The Montreal Safari Zone. Yeah. After seeing so many people like in between matches and watching the big screen of people like on stream and undertapping stuff, and I remember reading this. I'm like, why? Like, what is? I guess it's to appeal to other players that don't understand the mechanic.
But it's so unintuitive. Like stop tapping so you can get the energy. Like it's really like I agree it lowered the skill gap, but it's not something that if you were to explain this to somebody, they would be like, huh? Like
I mean, because I disagree with what you just said. Like, what you just said is an accurate description of what undertapping is. So I'm not arguing that, but like and everyone in this chat knows, like it's a little bit more than just stop tapping so you can like.
no, for sure. But like that's the
Yeah,
mechanic,
I know what you're
that
saying.
You need to do beforehand. But I loved undertapping.
Yeah.
Like I love doing it, and like the thrill you get from like when you undertap, you stop, you see them go, you're like, gotcha, right?
Yeah, like that's what like those moments.
But
And-
the appeal of it, and as well, like the interface is now way smoother than when undertapping was available.
Yeah,
Now you actually get the energy when you actually do the move, all this stuff. So it's a pretty big change, but it impacted like a small percentage of the community.
Oh wow, this was all right. My
This was
bad. Keep
Sinister.
keep going though. Like we're about to
Ooh,
watch.
this
We're
is-
about to watch the depth of the champion.
These
We're
are
about to-
4 huge move changes. Like
Yeah.
arguably, like ton of. This is like man, they were like what is this? July, September? Okay, I guess it's a weird time. But Bubble Beam,
Mantine.
Mantine, Suicune. Like I don't think we've
Oh,
seen like
Suicune, yeah.
I don't think we've seen the full potential of what Bubble Beam could look like.
I blocked out all the ferocious mons from my head. Like I can't. Like nah.
But definitely spammy strat. I thought it was really cool when they and then the death of Power Up Punch.
Yeah. So like, do you? Is it? I think this is the way Power Up Punch should be. Like again, maybe like
I agree.
unpopular opinion.
It was
Like this is the
broken.
way the move should be.
I know. I agree 100% on that. Like I think it was too OP.
And I like it now. Like even like Sinister Polyrath. Like it. I'm happy with what Power Up Punch is, and I'm glad that we lived in the golden age of Power Up Punch. They were fun times. Like we all could say we witnessed the Metachan take out like just wipe out a team.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for this was pre-Sinister. This is people practicing with Power Punch Polyrath, people practicing with the move right under, maybe not, but
Psychic.
yes, I can't remember right now. Maybe Claydol, but I love meta shakeups, and Power Punch getting nerfed for one of the most used Pokemon, such as Polyrath, was huge. I loved it.
Ooh, okay.
It added a whole new kind of thing to that Sinister meta, because now Polyrath wasn't just the dominant thing that it used to be.
To be honest, I think it saved Sinister from being like pretty good meta to an absolute amazing one.
Sinister's my favorite meta, probably of all time. Maybe right up there with Rainbow. But like it was fun, and it wasn't like you saw a variety of different Pokemon.
But really, it was because Power Up Punch got nerfed.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm glad.
Psychic got buffed, right? Like that
But
made some pretty big changes to how, and as well, it's not only like made Polyrath like this change it from being this nearly unstoppable monster to like pretty good, but like it also forced people to use different moves. Now, Dynamic
that was a
Punch,
big part. Yeah,
Hydro Pump,
Mud Shot.
Yeah. Like I made a video saying like in Sinister you want to use Bubble, right? It just makes way more sense along with Power Up Punch. You're gonna get your attacks rolling way more. Like it didn't really make that much sense that you could beat a Alolan Marowak just by Bubble and Power Up Punch. You're doing one move that's the charge move that's double resisted. Right?
But Bubble becomes Bubble. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was and so really like it was kind of cool that they did it right in the middle. Actually, when was this? Yeah. Oh, actually, no. Right before season 2 started.
They killed everyone's strat. And 4 days before Sinister started. That's great.
Psychic Medicham, right? Like when we were talking about running Psychic beforehand, it's kind of like a novel strat. You're like, oh man, maybe I'll surprise a Azumarill with Psychic when they think it's going to be a Power Up Punch, or I'll try to win the mirror match by Psychic. But it's like it was way too much energy, way too risky, but it made it like a really good move, right? And it also made it way more viable in raids. So yeah. Really.
Oh well, I disagree. Like you said, Psychic wasn't the. I use Psychic on my Metachan. I love Metachan and Sinister with Psychic.
No, beforehand.
Oh, okay. Then I agree with you 100%. My bad.
Like you could have used it Boulder. You could have used Psychic and Boulder to beat a fellow Medicham, right? You could have used it in regionals, right? But how many people did? Everyone ran
Power
Punch, Ice Punch. And I love metas, and I love gameplay where you have the same mon, but they could have completely different movesets.
Yeah, no, the Polyrath Mirror, like in Sinister, was so I don't want to say fun, but it was always actually all of Sinister. You're playing, like I need to know what moves that has.
Yeah.
Like, does it have Hydro Pump? That could be a bad day for me. Like it's those things. Like you play differently when you learn what the move Polyrath had.
Absolutely, and we saw so many combinations.
And even the next one with
huge.
Yeah.
It made one of the best Pokemon kind of broken.
Like this, I feel like this was like the death of the fighters and the rise of Umbreon. Like
Huge.
I feel like that's the highlight of this.
I never heard it described like that,
rise.
but yeah.
And Suicune too was huge. I remember it was me, Valor and some developers at Niantic, and I remember like we were talking about stuff, and I was like, Suicune. Like, come on. Like, Suicune's terrible in raids. You can't put it in gyms. Everyone laughs at Suicune, right? I have like 400% Suicunes. I laugh about it all the time, right? I did so many raids of it, but so trash. But its stats out of all the legendary beasts should be for PvP, but it's so terrible. I'm like we need something for it. And Snarl and Bubble Beam, these two updates for it, great for it. As indirect, obviously Umbreon, more used Pokemon, but it certainly made Suicune way more viable.
Yeah, expensive.
Expensive for sure. But I guess expensive for the second move, not expensive to power up that much.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah. Thunder. Come on, no, yeah, yo, yeah. Oh my bad. Yeah. I just got super excited. I ran a Thunderfang Steelix. I don't regret that. I don't regret that one bit.
All right, well,
made it spicy. Thunderfang on Steelix was probably the biggest one.
Fire Spin Alolan Merrick for me. I saw that instantly. I was like, that changes the entire meta.
Oh man, yeah. Even Ice Fang and Drapion, and man, it's just so many like really interesting moves added to these Pokemon. Oh man,
we got to shine the spotlight on Nightwing here for Marowak. And his
I used Fire Spin. I did not use Fire Spin.
But you used the other thing. Flame
I mean, that was I wanted Marowak to be a fire type, a fire move,
I think
have a fire move.
I think he used Fire Blast.
I definitely used Fire Blast.
Yeah,
but it was. I ran two like iterations of Marowak for a while. I was switching back and forth to the one with the Fire Spin, with Shadow Ball and Bone Club, and then the one with, what's the other Hex? Right, Hex and Fire Blast and Shadow Ball.
Yeah,
there's a great back and forth with this. There's the New York City Sinister Cup that happened that was Valor Ash went to, Quindy won, and that's that. And then you have right around the big Virginia Cup. It was the draft with Valor Ash and Toshi and some of the other Go Stadium guys, where it's like Matt Swar and those guys. And in Sinister Cup, Nightwing fire blasted a Steelix, fire blasted Toshi's Steelix, and we saw it on stream, and that was huge.
Crazy.
And then we saw Mason fire blast Matsuwara Skarmory with Toshi in the back, freaking out about it. And man, once you put those two together, beautiful story, beautiful.
But not really to move there here, but it was cool for sure. Thundershock on Raichu. Raichu. Oh, huge.
Yeah.
Ice Punch on Alolan Sandslash. We didn't realize how... I'm like, oh, that's a pretty good bait move. But man, we didn't realize how good Alolan Sandslash was until Ferocious.
Yeah.
And then Charm
and then this is broken.
Charm on Alolan Ninetales. Like, we didn't realize how good... I'm like, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh man, I can't wait till Alolan Ninetales becomes meta, because I really want to use Charm on it. Oh man. Golduck will have its day. It has a pretty interesting moveset.
It's already here.
I tested it a little bit for this for a time, but it's not bad.
It has some play for sure.
Yeah,
some play, absolutely. Alolan Marowak Fire Spin, Flame Wheel's garbage, but Fire Spin. Oh man, that really changed Alolan Marowak in Sinister, and changed Alolan Marowak in general.
Yeah.
Like, it made it like a way.
I think you could use it in FFA different. Like, I think it could be used. My bad. Open Great League.
Absolutely.
I think it could have been used. Like, Hex is still usable. Like, it's still usable with like its normal movesets, but like it becomes the same mon being used for different like things, and that's then you're playing the mind game with your opponent. Like, what is it? What are the moves on this Marowak? You need to know what moves are on that Marowak so you know what you're doing. Absolutely. So like I love that, like that aspect of the game.
Absolutely. And then Mantine, however you want to pronounce it. Bubble Beam. We haven't got a cup where we've had to use it, but whenever we do, or whenever it becomes like necessarily viable, it's gonna be really good. It's gonna be a huge pain to deal with. Then Mawile, power up punch. Like Mawile was like borderline useful in Sinister. It was like more on maybe like slightly memey, but as soon as it got power up punch, man, like if you didn't have a check for it,
Yep.
like
It's over.
It's over. Like you could literally run through your entire team.
Yeah.
Over.
Yeah.
Yeah, like and has some.
I ran it in Sinister. That was my Sinister line was always Mawile, Bite, Power Up Punch, Dazzling Gleam, Play Rough. I forgot whatever the fairy move is.
Whatever's
And Slowbro, Water Gun, Aqua, whatever. I don't know the moves. I'm sorry.
Water Pulse,
And what was the
Psychic?
Right.
Yeah.
Ice
Like,
Beam?
and it was always those two added with another one of the four. Like Mawile was I love Sinister in part because of Mawile.
No, absolutely. And then obviously Snarl and Weavile. It might have some play in Ultra or Masters, but we might see it in Go Battle League. But for right now, not too big of an implication. I realize I missed one update. Some of these updates are buried, so I'm gonna go back to it. Celebrate the Equinox events with Pokemon Go.
Oddish.
Acid spray.
Oh.
Acid spray.
Oh,
This
man.
was-
someone. I can't believe.
I mean, it's kind of dead now, right? But we could talk about the glory times.
Hell yeah.
Good old days.
Tentacruel, Alolan Muck as well. Quagsire Strats.
Muck. I will live in. Kanto Muck was one of my first picks in a draft, and I don't regret that at all. Like I love Kanto Muck so much and Thunder Punch, like the Acid Spray Thunder Punch. It's so nice. It's so nice.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
go ahead.
I love using Alolan Muck a lot. I know it doesn't have that Thunder Punch option, but Dark Pulse Acid Spray, I mean, they charge up at the same time. So there's no way to distinguish if it's an Acid Spray or a Dark Pulse. And I just love that part of it.
Yeah, and you definitely saw, I think like Alolan Muck was the first time you saw like a Pokemon play a support role. Where you saw, I showcasted a tournament from Joey Bra, where literally Acid Spray, whatever came, negative matchup, Acid Spray, come in with Togekiss and Charm, and like just do a ton of damage, and like leave that Pokemon like barely alive if it could get out in time.
He tried to strap, but I couldn't get a hold of it.
Yeah.
Dark Matter Wolf in at GoFest. What was the opens qualifier or whatever?
Rainbow.
Rainbow, yeah, the Rainbow. He Acid Spray on Victory Bell, and then like came in with the Kingdraw with Dragon Breath. Like you blink and it's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah. Huge update.
Acid Spray was. This was when Shiny Oddish was released.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of these things are so buried. It's like difficult to find them.
But when did that come out? That's only been a couple months. No way. March. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. No. Acid Spray's been in this game for a very long time.
Yeah.
Pretty huge.
Yeah.
The next one. I don't think it was announced. Lock On wasn't announced. I think it was just added to the game. But like Lock On the Reggies, like turn them from like complete joke to like everyone and their dog's battler wanted to get a Registeel.
Yeah.
And I remember streaming when it first came out, and like how broken it was. Like it was amazing. Like you could like triple flash cannon a Azumarill and take it out. Like, and it was just charging at ridiculous speed. We haven't seen it used in a cup yet, but whenever it does, definitely is going to have some play.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely going to be one of the top mons in that meta, whatever it meta decides.
And it makes total sense. Like, these are like defensive Pokemon, right? Like, these should be good in PvP. So I'm glad that they gave it some redemption. And it showed like how in tune they were, because they eventually scaled it back to an appropriate level. It still made them very good, but not quite broken.
Yeah, the fact that when these came out, the first thought was like, oh, we're going to put legendaries in gyms now, because they're defensive Pokemon. And
Yeah.
people are like, oh, they were half expectingly like waiting for this to become a thing, but it never did.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So it definitely gave them some play, and that's what I love about PvP. It makes so many Pokemon that weren't viable beforehand, or that you never thought you would use
Oh yeah.
until like really really great and fun Pokemon. So the diversity is amazing. The next one, nothing. Okay, tell me when you thought about when you saw this coming 2020 Go Battle League.
PGBL. First thing that came to my mind. But besides the PGBL there, I have excitement, pure happiness, man. To see how much Sylph has done for the PvP community, I pray to God they are still, after everything that's gone on, they're still going to be just killing it with the cups and everything. But I'm very interested to see how Go Battle League comes out. When I first heard about it, no faith though, no faith in it. So I'm like, this is gonna, after everything we've seen, or the champions that we've seen rise through Sylph, I don't think we'll see the same thing with this, because there isn't. This is all remote, and remote tournaments are great, but there's something to be said about huge tournaments that you go with people that you know, and afterwards you go get pizza and you enjoy the social aspect of that. And I'm curious to see what this will produce.
My bad. You go, man. I'm still thinking. I don't remember.
When I first saw this, I was pretty hyped because like basically in my local community, nobody plays. But I'm the only one that does PvP. And I know they've been saying for a while they want something in the game, and it's too much to just kind of like go around to other people and try to work up that 30-day friendship to actually start battling. So I was super excited for this because I feel like now that this is like a feature that you can just go do in the game, I feel like a lot more people. It's going to introduce a lot more people to the PvP aspect of the PvP world.
Absolutely. And that's like probably the most exciting thing for me is that the fact that there's so many people that said like, oh, you know what, what Sylph is doing is cool and stuff, but it's not official, right? It's not in the game and all this stuff, right? Like these tons of reasons, but I legitimately see a lot of people like start asking me questions about PvP that haven't battled beforehand and that are really into it and really engaged and are ready for this. We'll see how it is. If you would ask me, December 3rd, 2018, before PvP was released, you would ask me about Go Battle League or projected how it would look, I would have said it was going to be a total disaster. It's not going to work. It's going to lag like crazy, and it might lag when it first comes out. But I'm confident that they're going to deliver a good product. We're going to see how the buy-in is going to be like, but the excitement, the fact that the player base could grow when it comes to battling tremendously is a really exciting prospect.
Yeah. I agree. My bad. I was so like, I paused at this one because I remember reading this because I was like, oh crap, like I thought I was screwed. Like honestly, like I was like, yo, they stole my name. Maybe I stole their name. I don't even know. But like when it comes to all this, like I definitely on the whole like Kaiser, like I read that and I was like, I have no faith. Like it needs to come out. It's gonna be buggy and hopefully it'll get better because like that's the trend they've been going with so far. But like when it comes to this, and maybe I'm not. This is definitely probably not the popular opinion. Like I have my communities. Like I have multiple. Like I'm lucky enough that I have a PvP community. So if this is good, great. If it's bad, all right. Like it affects me only in a positive way. If this doesn't succeed, I don't really see it changing anything in my life. Like,
yeah. No.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, so like Sylph definitely deserves the credit. The communities that like run the tournaments deserve the credit here. Like everyone has. I feel like people have their community, and that's great. And like nothing's really should like Sylph. People talk about like Sylph being worried. I have no fear with that will change at all. The only thing is, I think this will be the gateway to get people in, and that will make the Sylph scene larger. But like, other than like, please don't sue me for copyright infringement, or like, I wonder if they wanted to use Pokemon Go Battle League, because like 2 days before, like 4 people that work for Niantic started following me on Twitter, and then this got like launched. I was like, oh, everything makes sense now. They're like scouting me. This is bad. They're gonna shut me down. So other than like, so if you guys are watching Niantic, please don't shut down PGBO. But like, other than that, like, I'm good. Like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I hope it does. But like, if it doesn't, I'm good.
I think.
But yeah,
No, I think those are all really great sentiments.
I think you're fine.
I think the one thing I want to be really cognizant about is like, especially you see this in group settings all the time, is that like once you're in a comfortable group setting, you're kind of like, this is my circle, these are my people, which is great. But the thing is, like, you always have to be open to letting new people in. And people
definitely agree with that.
They're
Definitely
gonna
agree
be
with
at
that.
different stages and different experiences, and they might say some things that are not so knowledgeable or all this stuff. But I think we always have to be welcoming and open to change and open to making this bigger and better. And I definitely do think that it's gonna help grow Sylph and the number of players. But I'm hopeful that we're gonna take this from where we're at right now, which is amazing, to a place that we can't even imagine right now. So that's my hope.
Yep.
That's my hope for it.
Yep.
And I just want to be
The second I saw this, I got really hyped, to be really honest with you, because local PvP is not that much of a thing at the moment, but that's because of the player base. It's not about the game itself. Like, I'm not blaming Niantic for this, but the second they introduced it, like in-game leaderboards,
it's gonna be huge.
That's what's gonna.
that was like that. I instantly began, collecting PvP Pokemon. That was the switch. Before that, I would use Hundus or something that I liked from back whatever. But when this started, I actually began focusing on it.
Absolutely.
I began scanning out like specific IV Pokemon, making teams, doing some calculations. This was the turning point for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's gonna be on the community that exists right now to welcome all those players and help them along their PvP journey. And
Also, my bad. I want to point out, because I think you're probably way too humble to like even like bring that up. Like, King, I think you have a very big part in getting us to this point. Your whole, like, we breezed over, like, there wasn't an update about the Worlds tournament, but like, I think that was a very big part of like introducing like a bigger community that's not just the people we know. Because like I think PvP is a large community, but it could be much bigger. But that is the worldwide stage. That you're getting eyes from playing from different games. You're getting brand recognition. So like, I do think that might have helped like get us to this point where they're like, Niantic's like, all right, let's continue this. Let's move this forward.
yeah, no, absolutely. Obviously, the numbers at Pokemon Worlds were huge, right? Like
Yes.
13, 14, 15,000 as soon as that event ended.
And yeah, the
60.
drop off. Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned. Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Like, I love VGC. I watch a ton of like Sword and Shield, even though I don't own it or I don't play it. I love watching it. But man, there's something. It really showed like the whole, like that whole scene and the potential that's there, the watchability of it, and it's only gonna get better. So we're gonna see in this Go Battle League. Hopefully, and just to build on Kaiser's point, hopefully, like, this stuff leads to some in-person, like, live, whether it's hosted by Niantic, whether it's people finding Sylph and being interested in those live tournaments. But I want to see like a growing and prosperous in-person scene. I think remote is super important for not only players that don't have a local community, but also so that they are able to battle people from across the world and get better. But really, live in person is where the magic happens. So let's get to the final update. We don't have to talk too much about this, but tell me, because we've already like obviously just launched yesterday. We talked pretty extensively this, but what are some of the highlights for you guys? Obviously, them announcing. Okay, let's actually get this one. They announced that it's going to be Go Battle League is going to be in all 3 leagues, and your rating.
R.I.P. my dust.
What dust?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Jeez.
So
why are they doing this to me?
So are first off, are you going to participate in Go Battle League?
Yes.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
try. But,
Oh yeah.
Oof. I mean, I use all my dust for Great League right now, so I don't know how that's gonna happen.
There needs to be. So you're not. What I'm about to say, I hear it and I know I wouldn't like it, but like, there needs to be like a core meta. Like, I need to be able to power up like 10 mons, and
honest,
that's what I could use for masters.
I don't think that there's going to be like monthly restricted metas.
Yeah.
I know that's what I'm saying. Like the FFA, like, or an open Great League. Like, I need the open Master League meta.
Yeah.
Like, give me the Alterias, the Azumarils, the Skarmories, the
It-
blah blah blah.
It is going to be very expensive to do, but realistically, it's going to be for Ultra and Masters. You probably just need to master like 6 Pokemon.
That's what I'm hoping. Like, if it's like that and I can do that, then I'm definitely gonna plan on participating and keep it going all the way through. Other than like just going into Master League with 3 Mewtwo's, like
Yeah, don't use 3 Mewtwo's.
yeah. Dude, I imagine like one like Great League Sableye just bye bye. But
But yeah, this should be. It's pretty interesting. I'm not. I understand why they want to do this because they want people to explore other leagues and they have separate, leagues. Then there would be like this disparity in the community and whatnot. But
I'm hoping that people that battle in the Master League will bring them into PvP and want to PvP more. So and I think when I've talked to a lot of people about PvP, like when you guys probably have it too. When you ask someone for a mon under 1500 and they don't understand why, like they give you that look, but if they want to battle, they want to use the stuff. People like to max out their Pokemon. Like that is not a thing that I've ever done, but like that is a thing that people like. That's a part of their game, like the gameplay. So like a lot of these people that want to do PvP, but like wait, so I've spent how much dust on this like Rayquaza and I can't use it? Like why? You want me to use a Whiscash? What? Like you get like it's not the. I can see where the more appeal would be for Master League.
for sure, and I think vice versa as well, right? I think a lot of people that do Self, at least like when I posted those Draft League, it's different format, but Draft League Master Tournament battles, I think those were a lot of fun. Like I think it like really opened the eyes like to a different meta, different set of Pokemon. The calculations are the matchups are slightly different between the same Pokemon, even though they're both at 1500 or they're both at 2500 or whatever. They're both maxed out. Like the matchups can be different. So I'm hopeful, that's gonna encourage the community as a whole. What do you think? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, this was separate from the update. This is more of like I'm very curious to see and we won't, or maybe they have released it. Like Sylph's numbers, like there has been you've been able to do open Great League ranked tournaments and not open Great League. You've been able to do open league ranked tournaments in Ultra and Master. I wonder how many of those have actually occurred.
Definitely not that many.
All right, yeah,
but that kind of makes sense, right? Like the community,
the audience,
the community right now engaged in Self are people that participate in the Great League, right? So you're kind of like telling them to go. It's just like if you went to people that raid all the time and you ask them like, show me all your Great League Pokemon. Like, of course, it's not gonna have that many, right? Like, this is not an audience that's not a thing that they participate in right now.
And I'm really hoping, like as I said before, like I hope people have all these Master League Pokemon. They battle, they like the battle, they want more of it. Hey, I know just where to tell you to go.
But
like
I think that will definitely occur, right? Because if they have success in Masters and it rotates to Great League, they're gonna be like, oh, I want to keep building my rating, right? I want to get to rank 10, right? I want to beat my friend and have a higher battle rating than them, right? What do I need to do? Oh, I need to power up some Great League Pokemon, or what are some good ones, and then they'll be able to find some resources, and then eventually they'll come across, scenes and people that relate to Self, and they'll make their way there.
we need more Stardust. I think in order, like, there needs to be Stardust events more regularly, or like star pieces need to be given out more. Just because, like, this is gonna hit a lot of people. Like me personally, like I'm going to struggle to whenever this is launched next year, whatever like that cup is going against. I hope I have PvP mons for that cup,
Yeah.
or like it's basically I'm just my
The
only fear
the thing
is
is,
you're
like,
going to lose people from like cups because they need to get their PvP mons ready.
but I think we'll see over time like strategies that come through. Like right now, like if you use a lucky Pokemon in Great League, it's not really optimized for PvP, right?
Nope.
So like obviously some people still use it, right? Because like they're low on Stardust. But when you have a lucky Pokemon for Master Leagues, that's going to be a viable one, right? Like
That's a good point.
Right.
Trading just became a lot like trading for those Matt
And
Hundo
and
Luckies.
now you want to trade like level 35
Yeah.
Pokemon, right, or whatever, right? So I think that's
But
gonna.
that's all of this, like all these things, like, and again, like I maybe I'm hopefully I'm wrong. I maybe I think I'm being a little more negative past like 10 minutes, and like hopefully I'm wrong there, because like those are the things that like make the game, like throw stuff at the wall, see what sticks, and like, hopefully it sticks and it works. Like you can't tell until it happens. So like I want to say I'm optimistic. Maybe I'm like 25% more optimistic than I was when we started this conversation.
Go ahead, Ramberto. Is that you want to say something?
Oh, the thing I was gonna say is, I wonder if Niantic really understands just how much Stardust it costs to do PvP. Because if they're introducing Great Ultra and Master League, unless you have like a huge reserve of Stardust, you're not gonna be able to do it right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. But I think it'll like come over time. Hopefully,
Yeah.
right? Like not everyone has to be the master at day one, right? Think about like back in January of this year, like how much bigger of an inventory of Pokemon do you have now? Right?
How much Stardust did you have at that point? That's a good question.
Well, for some people, they didn't have a lot back then either, right? So,
Well, I didn't spend my Stardust. I had like 7 million, because again, from 2016 to like whatever, like I maxed out a couple Mewtwo's, a couple of like Tyrantars. So I just was hoarding and hoarding and hoarding, and I remember that number and I miss it every day. Like
but
Over 500K.
like I'm at like 60K right now. It's
for sure,
and it's the whole you
I
want
think-
to test out new things.
to be honest, I think they'll definitely monitor the participation in each of the cups, and then I'm confident that they'll adjust and change and hopefully relieve over time. We also don't know what the rewards are going to be, all that
Oh,
stuff.
true.
So we'll see how it plays out. Even if it takes a little bit of time, I'm sure they're going to adjust and adapt it to make it palatable. At least that's what I'm hoping. The next two are changes that haven't been implemented yet. CMP and clearing of buffs and debuffs.
Big.
So what do you think of the CMP, their strategy for breaking CMP?
Good. This was needed.
I think this is like almost as good of a solution as they could come up with without making the game any more complex. Like obviously
Yeah.
adding the speed stat I think would be even better, right? Because it's like more of a reflection on like in the main series game, and there's some lore around it. But to be honest, it might even be better to break it by the attack, because now, like, because the thing is, like, the strategy is, unless you're like trying to hit a certain break point, which is usually not that advisable unless you're looking for a very specific matchup, because you're giving up so many other matchups. The best way to optimize was like, okay, I gotta have the highest stat product. But should that always be the case, or should that always be the single strategy? Now here there's trade-offs. Now you got to figure out like how important, and it adds a little bit more strategy on how you build your team.
Definitely. It's just that whatever you have invested so far in certain months is, unless there is some viability to them, it's kind of lost.
Yeah, no, it's like, and then the second one, which I think is going to have really big implications once it comes through, is the clearing buffs and debuffs, especially because of the moves that are coming in. initially when I read this, I thought like, oh wow, okay, GG, acid spray, bubble beam just got a nerf, a bunch of things. But then you read later on like these crazy moves like close combat that or like superpower or a number of different moves that reduce that self debuff, and you can just switch and then come back in and then do that move again. That's nuts.
Mhm.
That's really going to be really OP, and that's something that's going to be really hard to calculate and to value. And there's going to be a whole layers of strategy on how to optimize that.
Wow, honestly, like I never really even thought about that. That's again, you're shaking up the meta. You're changing the way gameplay is, and you're adding. So I can't even. My initial thought about that was again because the death of acid spray, but I never really even. Yeah, wow. And they're taking away something, but they're adding something back. So I can't even be cool. That changes the way the gameplay is. Like that's nice. It keeps it fresh.
And think about like I don't want to talk too much about ferocious, but think about like when, but like when you got bubble beam twice, right? Like you probably just stayed in because you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this Pokemon's pretty much useless now, right?
Yup.
Like I'm just gonna do as much damage as I can right now and just stay in, right? But now you have the option of like, okay, is it better for me to switch and have that Pokemon be at full strength later, but lose switch advantage? Is that a big enough gain, right? Is that something that I need to think about and do these calculations on the fly and really try to optimize it? So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm just so disappointed. I love acid spray so much.
it can still be
So
good.
like,
It's still good.
yeah. It just you have to work. And again, it's kind of what you're saying. Like it's just you have to find the new ways to work around it. Like having it charged up and then being able to throw it at it as soon as something gets switch locked. Like that will be amazing. But it makes it a little bit not less good, but like just
Use
it doesn't
differently.
hit the same way. Yeah, if that makes sense.
The thing that makes me kind of sad for this is just the defense Deoxys nerf, because now that Psycho Boost lowers your attack, it's not quite as viable as it was. While you get it quicker, it's just not as good.
For sure, it's definitely a nerf to Defense Deoxys, but it's still good, but it was quite OP.
True.
It was like probably one of the safest Pokemon to go into. Like even its counters, you're still doing quite a bit of damage to them.
I may be
It's not even
crazy.
a boost anymore.
Yeah.
I never ran it. I always ran Thunder Shock or Thunderbolt and Rock Slide. That's
You
since
were-
day one.
you were
I've
ahead
never
of-
had.
you were ahead
I
of your
never
time.
had it.
You were ahead
Nope.
of your time.
That
Yep.
might become the meta moveset now.
It's
And-
again, you heard it here. It's a tank killer. Like it's Altaria Rock Slide. Like you know what? Like no, even Thunderbolt with the Skarmory. Like you're good.
No, for sure. You just get kind of walled by Mud Boys, but
Oh yeah, no, you do. It's bad, but like you just don't let it get to that point.
that's true. And then Night Slash, obviously less energy. Icy Wind, I think is going to have some like decent implications. There's not a ton of Pokemon that know Icy Wind. Obviously Cloyster is one of them. Dugong, but that's double legacy. Driftblim as well. And really, they didn't. In my opinion, they didn't nerf the damage on Icy Wind like they did for Bubble Beam because they needed to make dragons less viable in Ultra and Masters. That's the
Okay.
reason why. Like there's like if they reduce the damage, then some of those matchups, then Giratina in Ultra and Masters is too good. You know, Dragonite is too good in Masters. Like you just need a way to take care of them and to hold them back. Hydro Cannon nerf.
That makes me feel bad. I love Swampert.
You think
Now-
it was necessary?
Yeah.
It was wanted though.
Is Niantic comfortable where Frenzy Plant is, I guess, for damage? Is my question then? Because I see, they're not the same, but I see Frenzy Plant as another hard hitter like Hydro Cannon.
But the thing is, like, it's way different. Like when how quickly you can get it with Mud Shot.
True.
There's no equivalent of that, right?
Yeah.
It's just getting off way too frequently. That 1 second earlier made it like. The thing is, like, where does like Venusaur is still a specialist, right? It's not it's not that much of a generalist just because grass typing is like so resisted by the flyers are so prevalent and so good, right? And even with Frenzy Plan, the thing is that Venusaur was not always the best grass Pokemon.
Yeah,
Yep.
Right?
correct.
Like we
Yeah.
think about Razor Leaf, you think about
Good for
Tropius, right?
Mhm.
Like it doesn't make Swampert. Swampert was so good. It was the best. It was top 3 in Masters, despite it being at such a low CP compared to the rest of the Pokemon at the top.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
Right? Swampert was the only Pokemon that was basically top 10, arguably top 5 in all 3 leagues.
That's awesome. I mean, that's not awesome,
That's
but that's
crazy.
awesome.
That's kind of nuts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what's it maxed out at?
Let's see here.
Would a maxed out one be the same for Ultra and Masters?
No,
like,
no,
does a
no,
max
no,
out be
no.
above 25?
I think it maxes at like 2,900 or
Okay.
something like that.
Yeah, then never mind. Yeah. That would have been awesome though. Like if it was like a 2,500, like destroying, like.
But
Jeez,
it's
yeah.
basically is, right? Like the thing is like it was better than Kyogre.
That's insane.
That's
Yeah.
Let's see, Swampert maxes out at 2,974. Think about that, 2,974 compared to like 4,074.
Yeah.
Like that really didn't make that much sense. So the nerf still makes it very good. Like 40-80, it's still gonna have some use, but it's just not gonna be able to as OP as it was before. Changes to Return in Frustration.
That's kind of big right now. Like that affects people. Like I got 2 Dragonairs with Return, so I'm like bummed that I wasted that.
You can always TM them per app and then
Yep.
It's like pretty much the same matchups, but you can also keep them as Return. You land a Return on a Lapras, you win the 0 shield.
Oh, that's yeah.
Return's actually more energy efficient than Dragon Pulse.
Are there any
Interesting.
matchups that return Winty that Dragon Pulse doesn't?
Yeah, the Lapras 0 shield.
Okay. That's interesting then. Yeah.
The only thing is that you would think it actually would do better than the 0 shield compared to Dragon Pulse, but the thing is that most of the time you faint before you get to it. Because like think about like it's the equivalent of doing 2 Aqua Tails. How often do you get to 2 Aqua Tails?
Not often.
Not often. So that's in the 1 versus 0, it might be really good because then it's the best closing move that Dragonair has.
Yeah.
Mud Slap change, not that big a deal. Sand Tomb could be interesting, especially on Torterra with that Razor Leaf damage.
Yeah, that could be really interesting then.
Earthquake mostly for gyms and raids,
Oh,
but
jeez.
that was a big change. Then obviously overheat, huge. Draco
Yeah.
Meteor, limited use, but could certainly see some play in Masters and in Ultra. And then Psycho Boost, obviously we talked about. Close
you-
combat. Go ahead.
My bad. Can we pause on Overheat for a second?
Yep.
Because that makes Charizard more viable without Blast Burn. Like Blast Burn is still definitely the preferred move. But
Yeah.
if you don't have like a Wing Attack,
Wing attack,
Overheat.
legit option.
I'm looking for one of those right now. I want to test that set really
I'm
bad.
not gonna. So this may be dumb, but I'm waiting to teach my Charizard a new charge move for like 901 on December 14th. Like I'm like the moment it's live, I want to see if that works. And if it doesn't, like I'm gonna have a Wing Attack, Overheat, like Dragon Pulse Charizard. I'm thinking about that a lot for Timeless.
Yeah, Dragon Claw. Yeah.
Dragon Claw. My bad. Yeah.
No, overheat. Obviously, these are good experimental moves on their part, right? These self-debuffing, super OP damage. I like it. I like they're taking risks and forcing us to change up our gameplay.
Yeah.
Close
Agreed.
combat, man. Like we talked about, like fighters got nerfed when Power Up Punch got nerfed, right, and all this stuff. But now close combat on so many fighters makes them viable. Like PV Poke was saying that Hitmontop was ranked number 4.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Jesus.
But it kind of makes sense. Like Hitmontop is more defensive than Hitmonchan, right? It's that like if they're all this, I forget which. Yeah, I'm assuming it's the defense stat. But anyway, one of the stats that makes a Hitmontop, right? So it kind of makes sense and makes it more viable. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, superpower and close combat are they're definitely gonna add a new kind of element of strategy to the game. And I'm really excited to see what they do once you're able to switch out and get rid of the debuff.
Absolutely. Fell Stinger.
Yeah.
This is probably a big one too. These bug types deserve a better move. So they got the equivalent of Power Up Punch, a Beedrill, Quillfish, Vespa Queen, and Drapion. I think all benefit from Fell Stinger.
Yeah.
I'm
Drapion.
Yeah, Drapion is, oh my god.
I feel like Drapion, like it's literally the same. You're getting Drapion with Bite is the exact same thing as a Mawile with Bite and Sinister.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, it's like the opposite of my play style, so I probably won't end up using it, but it's definitely something that people are gonna have to take into account for.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely.
First thing I TM'd.
And then we're gonna see Quillfish and Vespa Queen. We're gonna definitely see this move. Mirror Shot, I don't see too much play. It's gonna be a good bait move for Fortress, which I think is gonna be important. A good bait move for Magnezone. But man, Akazuka.
Akazuka, what a name. Kingdra, man. You love this. I love meta shakeups are the best, man.
Oh man,
I'm so excited to see Kingdra shine even more than it was already.
No, absolutely. And then these ones down here, Kyogre getting Surf is good for Masters. Moved it all the way to 7th. Power Up on Tangrowth makes it interesting.
That's for Ramberta right there.
Yeah, that's actually solid because it wins you definitively the Lapras matchup now, which Tangrowth kind of struggled with.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Which I think is you probably want to run Ancient Power Whip. Is probably the moveset that you want, but it certainly made it better. And then Porygon 2 in Z or Z, however you want to pronounce it, with Lock On. This is the reason why they had to fix Return. Imagine having a bait move of Return.
Oh wow!
Right, you know what I mean? Like 4 seconds to get to a Return.
Oh my god!
Right?
That was insane.
You know what I mean?
My god!
That's too broken, right? Like
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Imagine Ramberto, they left it at 40 and 130.
It would be. Oh my gosh!
That would be the new Registeel of that like moment. Yeah.
Can anything beat that?
I legitimately do not think so.
Yeah, that's insane. if they left it at that, I don't think anything beats that.
Like and this is stab damage. So think that
Like Metachan maybe.
I legitimately think that Machamp would well maybe actually whatever we can do.
So it's gonna take. It's gonna get like 1 or 2 shotted.
Let's see. Okay, I'm so curious, but it's not. You can't. It's not really. It's very not. Let's see. Porygon 2. Let's see how much. Let's see how much a return. Oh, she doesn't. Oh, there's no return. Oh, because you can't.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay, return does 96 damage. Pretty decent chunk.
Jeez, that's insane. So I mean, it does get 2-shotted, but
yeah, it does virtually get 1-shotted by Dynamic Punch, but that would still do a ton of damage to a lot of Pokemon. None of these other ones are too crazy. Licky getting Shadow Ball, good against Giratina. Nothing too crazy. Heat Train getting Flamethrower is nice.
Yep.
Man, this got me hyped.
It's the last thing. Yeah.
Legacies.
Wow.
Which ones are you guys which one's your favorite?
Dragonite, 100% that friggin' Dragonite.
Yeah. So I have an unpopular opinion, which I know Kaiser's definitely more on my side here.
Yeah.
But like I don't damn, please the world that watches this, don't hate me. I don't 100% like this.
That Legacies came back?
Yeah, only because one, like I, like probably many other, have given like away like maxed out Mons or shiny Mons for legacy Pokemon. I've been lucky to find people who don't care about that stuff. but like I've also been like I've traded like gold for these things, and also it gives you different things to hunt for, like for holy grails, other than like shinies. Let me get that shiny Shadow Ball Mewtwo. Like I don't even care about that. Whereas like, yo, you have a legacy Poliwrath, I'll give you anything you want. Like you have a Stone Edge Blaziken,
Oh my
take
god.
my phone. Take my phone. I will trade you 3 of anything you want. Like and it just, I don't know. When they come out again, they lessen.
They lessen the
Lapras.
value. They lessen
Yeah,
the value.
Lapras was one of my most like sought out legacy mons. Like with the Dragon Pulse or with Ice Beam. Like I didn't have that at all. And then Raid Day happened, and like I'm grateful. Everyone's got a Lapras now. But like if everyone's got one, then it's less special.
Yeah.
But
It levels the playing field for a competitive aspect, though, which is listen, Nightwing, you and I, we know exactly what my thought is on legacy moves and then returning for like community and stuff. Not a big fan of it, but I've been told by a lot of people like, hey, it's leveling the playing field. It helps a lot, and so I'm okay with it. However, when I saw these moves, the first thing I thought of, King, was when you gave a Confusion Executor away to someone who won one of your like meetup tournaments or something.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And I'm like, oh, you can get another one. Hell
my
yeah.
only one,
You love to
but-
see it.
That's the same thing that I thought about when I saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't think about me, guys.
You can get that executor back.
Yeah, there
But
you go.
I totally understand. Like, it creates this like novel trade market for people that are hunting down legacies. But it's just not healthy for the competitive game,
Yeah,
right?
the competitive part of it. Yeah,
Think about like how many people complained in Ferocious because they didn't have
Last Umbreon, yeah.
right. And
I
imagine
don't-
And about day
imagine for this cup. Imagine for this cup. Even though there are replacements, but imagine like how salty people would be for this cup if they didn't have that Lapras Day.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Like it would just kind of spoil the fun of it. It might be fun for you as the individual that has it, but
Yeah, I mean, but also isn't part of. I don't want to argue like legacy. I do think part of the fun is working your. I still don't have a Shadow Ball Haunter.
Same.
Working your way around that
Same here.
is part of the game for me right now. It may not be a part of the game for like Kaiser or you or King, but
I don't have one.
like for me right. Or so my bad. So who has a Shadow Ball Haunter here?
I do.
King does. Yeah,
But I
Damn,
would want it to come back.
What?
I would want.
Oh,
it to
you
come
would
back.
want it to come back?
I traded a ton for that. Like I spent days like looking for people. I like drove it really far to do it. But ask me any day of the week would I want to come back? Absolutely.
I don't. There are things like I remember getting. I remember the Holy Grails and like the things I'm still looking for. And again, like if I could get them right now, yeah, I guess like I'd want them to battle. But like it is.
But
It added something to all this. Like you need to get that for you need to get it for PvP. Like asking people, like I've talked to people that I would have never talked to again in my life because I was like, yo, do you have old Pokemon? Like can you let me see your old Pokemon? Like so like there's reconnection when it comes to like you're talking to people that you might not, but you're talking to everyone you know that plays this game or played this game at launch.
I agree with that. But think about all the battlers or all the potential battlers that didn't show up to tournaments because they didn't think they thought legacy Pokemon were too OP and they didn't have it.
Oh, is that a thing?
yeah. I was about to say like how do we know? Like we obviously can't ever know how often that happens. But I've never encountered that. Like if I ever don't have a legacy thing, like especially like for Sinister, I didn't have legacy onto it, but I'm like absolutely, I'll try and pick something else.
For me,
but that you're so ingrained in the system. But there's certainly
That's true.
There's certainly people that would choose not to go or choose not to participate because they're like there's so many legacy. Whether that's true or not, it was largely not true until Ferocious. Like Ferocious was the
Umbreon, yeah, you needed it.
was the only time
not
that
having that Umbreon was such a deterrent for me in Ferocious. It was tough. Like I that was my least that was one of my least I think, amount of tournaments that I've done in a month in a very long
And
time.
would
That was the
you
most amount of tournaments
would
I've done
you-
in a long time.
would you have had more fun if you had Last Resort Umbreon?
Oh, 100%. It gives you so much more options. Because then you're not like really screwed if you get up against like a Skunk Tank or another Umbreon, which I found that was tough.
So, I think it's just there's obviously value in like the novelty of the looking for legacies, and I think a lot there's certainly Nightwing. I'm sure you have a group of people that are intense battlers that really value that, and it is a kind of a cool feeling when you have that, right? I love using my double legacy Magneton, and I remember like
The Holy Grail right there, or a Thundershock Raichu.
Trying to like message somebody we met up at a grocery store in this random city for whatever reason, and I was trying to find this person, and I thought it was another person. It ended up being like their friend that was like trading it to me. Like it was very confusing, but it was obviously cool memory, and I love using it. And it goes exactly to 1500 and all that stuff. But I would want that legacy for at least that people have that option for that Pokemon anywhere.
I mean, I get it, and I've heard that argument before. And again, it just to me, it just I think you're right for like the overall game and the sport itself. Like, yeah, but just the personal aspect. I love hunting for it. I like not just looking for like a shiny Pokemon. Like, give me something. Give me that thing with that move. Like, I feel like I love that. I love that feeling. I love finding it. I love like, what do you want? I will give you anything. You won't understand what you have right now. Like, that's so much fun.
For sure. Any of these other legacy moves? So we talked about Dragonite, Dragon Breath, Dragon Claw. Any of them else that stand out to you?
I mean, Mudshot Poliwrath is good for exactly what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Give it to the masses.
Yeah.
Confusion
Right.
Executor.
I think like Machamp with Cross Chop is one that I think people might find some use on, just because like we've always seen it on PvPoke. If you look at the overall rankings, it was always like in the top 20, top 25, but everyone, to be honest, kind of ignored it because like who has a Great League Cross Chop Machamp?
Yeah. You're going to be seeing a lot more of those now.
So you're gonna see it kind of shakes up the fighter list a little bit more. Obviously, I'm excited for a Pinsir, especially since it got close combat and superpower. So I think overall this update was
Gengar, too.
Yeah, I was about to say for the raid scene. Gengar, Shadow Claw. Hell yeah.
Huge. Like
Yeah, I got a few hundos I can TM.
Yeah, exactly.
The one I'm interested to see what Snorlax does, because Munchlax's been interesting for a while, but I'm pretty sure that Snorlax has better stats.
I don't think so. I think it's worse.
Munchlax, it's still good.
I'm interested to see how Snorlax is gonna do.
I think Snorlax is like 2,000 or 1,900 or 2,000. It's pretty close.
Oh, then yeah.
It's like 5% difference. But the thing is that
Power.
look at this. This is Munchlax's move pool. Look at Snorlax.
Wow. Oh my god.
Look at Snorlax. You thought you had a terrible time TMing Hypno? You haven't met the big boy yet.
Those all
Man.
kind of really suck.
No, but some of them have interesting coverage, like Outrage, for example.
Yeah, but
Right? Or Earthquake, for example.
Yeah, let's say for Earthquake for like Lucario or something.
Yeah. For Superpower for Lucario.
Definitely can be interesting though.
Skull Bash, Outrage, Hyper Beam.
what's its fast moves?
Lick, Yawn, and Z Headbutt. You want Lick, obviously, for the most part.
But Lick's not good either. Right?
Man, that's what makes Munchlax pretty decent.
Yeah.
Isn't Lick like decent, but not like the best?
I think it's like Water Gun clone.
Ah, gotcha.
Not terrible.
Yeah, I don't know.
But enough bulk to be able to last to be able to get to these moves. So I think.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna make a Snorlax. So there's that one.
Dude, Naywick, you say that now.
Yeah, you know what?
I have. You say that now.
Yeah.
Right. To think about all the Pokemon that you said I'd never make. What'd you say? You said you never make a Medicham.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
Chan, right.
I said I would never make a slow bro, and I thought slow bro was stupid, and it was my MVP in Sinister.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're right.
you're gonna make a Snorlax one day.
I guess.
I think it's obviously. I think Munchlax is probably overall better, but this pretty wide move pool, like, could be pretty interesting.
Yeah, it definitely could be like an interesting kind of niche pick or niche pick.
It also all this though, like I'm sure everyone here knows people that likes to run like spice or like off meta. Like they also give those people who choose to go off meta on purpose a lot more options.
So you can beat Munchlax
Yeah.
with the Snorlax.
The
I
double
mean, I would hope so.
Yeah.
Why does Munchlax have more HP?
I don't know,
That's
but
just,
I
that's
mean,
how it scales. That's less defense, so
yeah.
it just scales a little bit differently. Yeah. Anyways, I think it's good. I think it's gonna have some use on some teams, right? I'm not sure in Cliffhanger. Is Munchlax at 1 point
Roberto?
or is it 0?
Let me check. I'm pretty sure it's a 0.
Is it 0? Maybe
Oh,
that's-
it's
I think it was a 0.
I think it's too much. I think it's too good to be a 0.
I think I agree. I was going to say that seems interesting. It's 0.
And 2.0 or 1.0?
2.0.
2.0.
Oh, I don't have that available. My bad. Do I? No, I don't think so.
Totally forgot the command for it in Go Stadium.
But also, like,
the announcements or something.
Yeah.
I think like the overall of this though, like of all like kind of what we've gone over tonight, like kind of awesome.
Pretty
I want
awesome,
to
right?
say, yeah, like
yeah.
Niantic
0
wins.
Applause to Niantic, right? Like,
Like,
Clap it up for Niantic.
and to be completely honest, I've never really looked at it like this at all. Like the overall growth, because you're right, a lot, and I'm pretty sure we missed stuff. Like a lot of the stuff is buried.
yeah, this is like in like obscure titles, right?
Yeah, like, and you don't like that's, and there's times where you read, I read part of it, and I'm like, nah, I'm alright. Like this isn't for me.
Yeah.
And like that's there should be again. I know our community is not as big as the overall Pokemon Go community, but I don't know. Like I feel like it needs to be embraced and can only get bigger, and that's hopefully what they're doing here.
Yeah. No, when we do this 1 year from now, I
It's
expect
gonna be
like
insane.
a whole set of new changes and a whole way bigger audience and way more people battling and being out there. So
Yeah.
What's the one Pokemon you think you'll not power, like you won't power up, or there's nothing?
I legitimately don't think that there's one Pokemon that I would never power up.
All right.
You know, there's some Pokemon that are not allowed. Like Ditto is not allowed in trainer battles.
I wish Ditto was allowed in trainer battles.
No.
But you never
His
know.
time will come.
You never know, though, right?
His time will come.
You never
Oh, I
Think
love
about
this
it.
idea.
Like you get the copy, but then you get to learn their moves.
Oh, yeah.
And like you never know what's gonna happen, right? There's even some Pokemon that don't max anywhere close to 1500. Who knows? Like if they're gonna allow like level 50 one day,
Yeah.
Maybe.
right? Or allow those Pokemon to be higher CP in some form or fashion. I don't know, right? Like there's like
Can you imagine the amount of Stardust it would cost to get from level 40 to level 50?
But
Oh my
imagine you could like instead of like Stardust, you had to like do a certain number of battles with it, or
Sign me up all day.
or defeat so
All
many
day.
times, or walk it, right? Whatever, right? It doesn't have to be Stardust, right?
Oh, King, you're talking like gold right
I
now.
hope they're
King.
listening, Niantic. I hope you're listening.
Oh, yo, if that's the one thing anyone could like Niantic can take away if they're watching this. Like, yo, please do something about the Stardust. Like, my feet hurt. Like,
But they do want you to go out, right? They do want you to play.
It is
other aspects of the
Pokemon.
game.
Come
Go,
on, I will.
yeah.
yeah, but there's it's like go to bed. Like, yo, like it's I'm so tired.
Don't listen to Nightwing. This is
Okay.
This is deterring them from doing that.
Oh no, my bad. Go walk your hearts out. Community Day, December 14th, 15th. Walk 12 hours. Yo, I probably will be doing that
I
though.
will be doing that as well.
Like,
Like,
yeah,
Yeah, we're
like
in New York.
just compare this game to any like World of Warcraft, Diablo 2, or something. Like these are personal examples right now, but I have spent so many hours in these games, meeting nobody, just grinding or doing whatever that game was presenting to me as a task. But Pokemon Go is different. You
So
know,
different.
you're tricking yourself to get out. You know, I have neglected my gaming ring, my gaming rig for like a year and a half by now. I have a Steam account that's worth like 20 grand, and I'm playing this game, you know, because it's just way more rewarding than anything I've played so far.
For sure. Go out there and have fun.
Agreed.
All
I
right.
play this as my console game. Like, this is what I would choose to play. Like, I battle.
For sure.
Like, it's awesome.
Any final thoughts looking through effectively 1 year and eight days of updates?
I'm happy that Ark and I got some love.
Yeah, no, so that's a good one.
With all
Roberto?
I'm excited to see what comes next because we've already gotten so much in a year. It's just what does it look like in like 2 years or something like that?
I'm excited. Honestly, like, all the bumps in the road, we've made it to right here, and we're all here because we love the game. So, like, there's gonna be definitely things we're gonna have to get used to. There might be things we might not like it like right away, but like, honestly, like, it's been a year and they haven't really done bad. Like, they really haven't done us wrong. They've made us happy. So we can't really. Niantic definitely deserves like applause. Like, they did good.
They did amazing for to be honest, a part of the game that they put a lot of time and effort from and make a fraction of their money. Like, all those people that say like Niantic is being so greedy and all this stuff. Man,
you know what? I think they make money from us. We raid tier 3s.
But
we
like,
raid tier 4s.
But compare this to like the hardcore raid community. Or I even think about myself. When I used to be a hardcore raider, I used to spend a ton of money. I spent a fraction of that since I've been PvPing.
Oh, wow. I've always been free to play. I used to gym every night, and I get coins, man. I get all 50 now. But like, yeah, wow. I raid a lot more than I would have in the past.
For sure.
Because I need the rare candies and I need the TMs.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I think when you compare it to like, think about like how much money they made when raids dropped. Like,
yeah,
unbelievable amount, right? And think about like even their most profitable months. Why are the most profitable months? Oh, because they released Mewtwo, because they released Shiny Rayquaza. Like, those are their most popular ventures. But here they're putting a lot of time and effort because they see the long run potential. They see the long run play associated with PvP, and they have some amazing developers that really understand and love this game. So
I hope they do us right, but like, and again, and I know that's not for everyone, but I would put money to battle. Like, I would put a reasonable amount of money to battle.
I'm about to get like 20 dislikes because of that.
Oh no! I mean, I hope they don't do that. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, my paychecks are not thick, but I mean, I do think you're right though. That it is overall it's a business and they need to like profit some way. I hope they find a reasonable way for that in the PvP scene. Hopefully it's not from us. Like, ad revenue from. I think this should be. And again, this goes into another topic that King can just go on. Like, this should be an esport. I would watch. I love watching battles.
They could make so much money if they invest a little bit in the esport. But we'll see. I think we have a lot to prove on our end to make it viable. But definitely, if we can do it, I'm sure we'll get their support in the long run.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, yeah. I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me in this. I thought it was gonna be half an hour. I always say this. I'm like, oh, this video is gonna be like 20 minutes. It ends up being 45. And I was like, this is gonna be a half an hour. That's gonna be an overestimation. It ends up being 2 hours and 18 minutes. But this has been a really fun and enjoyable discussion, and I appreciate all your insights.
Thank you for having me, King.
All right, thank you guys. And if you guys like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see everyone in the next video.